This page is the front cover of Dreamcast Magazine, Volume 1, 1999, dated January 1st. The main highlight is the upcoming release of Sonic Adventure, with a 25-page special feature, promising to show everything about the game and including a Q&A with Sonic Team filled with helpful play information. Featured games include Shenmue, Pop Scene Music, and Climax Landers. New Dreamcast information includes 7th Cross Evolution, Sega Rally 2, and Tetris 4D. Special features inside cover Dreamcast's thorough usage techniques, including a jet grind radio special interview, and how 3D CG is changing animation. There is also a special plan for Christmas and New Year at ATP. The top banner advertises a Shenmue presentation event, with priority entry for 300 people who bring this magazine. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game Senko no Senki, Turbo Rider, which was released only in Japan. The advert details a pre-order campaign for the game, scheduled for release on January 14, 1999, with a suggested retail price of 5,800 yen, excluding tax. The campaign encourages pre-ordering and mentions that 10,000 lucky customers will receive a Senko Turbo Special Pass holder as a gift through a lottery. The advert also includes an application form for the pre-order campaign and contact details for NEC Home Electronics, the publisher. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game 7th Cross Evolution, described as a biological evolution simulation RPG. The advert features a large image of a stylized, somewhat monstrous character, likely from the game. It highlights the game's tagline, Neurotechnology SOM, Artificial Life and Dreamcast Graphics create worlds. Players are entrusted with worlds and evolution survival. There's a campaign mentioned where players who purchase the game and send in a questionnaire will be entered into a draw to win prizes totaling 10 million yen in gift certificates. The campaign period is from December 23, 1998 to January 23, 1999, and the draw will take place in February 1999. Pre-orders for the game are available now, with a release date of December 23, 1998, and a suggested retail price of 5,800 yen, excluding tax. The advert also includes a website address for more information. This page is the contents page for the first volume of Dreamcast Magazine, dated January 1, 1999. It highlights special features, including winter holiday gaming and a feature called Let's Go, Dreamcast. There is a section on how 3D animation is evolving, and a Dreamcast feature showcasing anticipated titles. Game previews include Shenmue, Sonic Adventure, Pop Scene Music, Climax Landers, Dreamcast Hot Information with new game news covering Get Bass, 7th Cross Evolution, Sega Rally 2, Tetris 4D, and digital horse racing newspaper, My Trackman. Dreamcast Soft Complete Guide section features Incoming and Humanity's Last Battle. The page also includes an image of Sonic the Hedgehog. This page is the contents page for weekly Sega Saturn magazine. It features two main sections, a game index covering both Dreamcast and Sega Saturn titles, and a listing of page articles. The game index highlights games like Dreamcast titles Shenmue and Sonic Adventure, as well as Sega Saturn games such as Sakura Wars and Street Fighter 02. The numbered pages preview upcoming software, new releases, complete guides, and regular magazine features including data stations, reader races, journals, and software reviews. Upcoming titles mentioned include Sonic 3D Blast and Girl Doll Toy, while new releases highlight Friends and Eternal Fantasy Song Ensemble 2. Complete guides are featured for games like Lapis Lazuli Colored Snow. This page is a news article from Dreamcast Magazine Weekly News covering the Light Up Xmas Shibuya Park Avenue event sponsored by Dreamcast. The article highlights the illumination ceremony in Shibuya Park Avenue where Sega's executive, Yukawa Senmu, made an appearance. The event, titled Dreamcast Presents Light Up Xmas in Shibuya Park Avenue, was held on December 6th at 4 p.m. in front of Parco Department Store in Shibuya. The article describes the beautiful Christmas illuminations and mentions the Dreamcast's involvement in lighting up Shibuya. It notes the enthusiastic response from the crowd, especially young women and high school girls who asked Yukawa Senmu for photos, comparing his popularity to an idol. The illumination event, with approximately 200,000 lights across 80 trees along 500 meters of street, was running until December 25th. Below this news piece is the front cover of Weekly News Landmark from Dreamcast Magazine, featuring the title Landmark prominently, and the dates Fry 12/18 and Thu 12/24. This page announces upcoming events, starting with the Tokyo Game Show 99 Spring, confirmed for March 20th and 21st at Makuhari Messe. The event highlights new titles from various game makers and will feature an event stage. It mentions the Dreamcast was a huge hit at the previous Tokyo Game Show 98 Autumn Sega booth. Moving on. The 9th Next Generation World Hobby Fair will feature Sonic Adventure with free play available. This event was held in Osaka Dome on December 12th and 13th. Fukuoka Dome on December 20th, and Makuhari Messe for the Tokyo leg on January 23rd and 24th, 1999. Lastly, there's a trading card event scheduled for February 6th and 7th at Tokyo Big Sight, East Hall 4. This event, hosted by Nippon Broadcasting, focuses on anime and game character trading cards, and will feature voice actors and popular idols. The trading card corner will also allow card exchanges. Pre-sale tickets are available from December 21st at Lawson Ticket, CN Playguide, Animate, Gamers, and more. The page mentions popular figures like Akina Sakai and Yuka Takaoka will be present at the event. This page is showcasing a range of exciting events and product announcements. First up, there's an NEC Interchannel Fan Appreciation Day event happening in Akihabara, Tokyo on December 28th, featuring new Dreamcast and Saturn titles, including games like Flame Black Matrix, Pia Carrot, Iyukoso 2 inches, which might be known internationally as Welcome to Pia Carrot 2, and Black Matrix Rix, alongside a PlayStation version of Debut 21. Next, there's a campaign to celebrate the release of The House of the Dead 2. They're giving away original mobile phone catchlights to 2,000 lucky winners who apply by January 30th, 1999. For those looking for entertainment, the Tokyo Dome Bolshoi Circus is back in Tokyo Dome after 2 years, running from December 23rd to February 21st. They're giving away tickets to see the show. In movie news, a French scandal movie called Paparazzi is set to be released around New Year's. On the hardware front, Namco is releasing a redesigned Talking Aid, a portable communication device aimed at assisting people with disabilities, improving upon its 13-year history, with better sound and usability. Finally, there's a highlight on the Dreamcast security features for online connectivity, emphasizing its adoption of industry-standard digital authentication technology, from VeriSign through Dream Passport, ensuring safe online experiences, including secure transactions using SSL. This page highlights upcoming events and new releases. Tomoko Kawakami, a voice actress, is holding events at Animate Shibuya and Hoshikodo Main Store to celebrate her mini-album, Life is Colored. Details are given on how to participate in these events, including ticket distribution and postcard applications. In news, the Dreamcast Bond has completely sold out. Applicants will receive a special QUO card and have a chance to win a Dreamcast console or visual memory. Also, the release of the Pocket Station has been delayed until January 23rd due to production reasons. Several music releases are advertised as well. Mad Sky Iron Cavalry of Ruin by Pierrot is already out, and their debut single was popular. Avex the album commemorates Avex's 10th anniversary. Ryuichi Sakamoto's BTTB album is available, as is Anita's Clouds Dormitory, which features the song Silent Night. Pool Bit Boys album, featuring the theme song from a TBS TV drama, is also on sale. Coming soon are $89.99 collection by Koizumi Production, speakers What's a Boy to Do, and the soundtrack for Pimpin' Trail Cephalon. Finally, there is a section detailing how to apply for presents, advertised in Landmark magazine. Joyopolis Game Centers are advertising special Christmas and New Year events across Japan. Starting November 28th, nationwide locations, including Osaka Umeda, Tokyo, Shinjuku, and Yokohama, are hosting Christmas attractions. Tokyo, Shinjuku, and Yokohama centers are giving away invitation tickets for 5 groups of 10. Events extend beyond Joyopolis itself, with decorations in Osaka Padu and events at Hanshin Sega World Festival Gate. Inside Joyopolis, visitors can enjoy free Dreamcast games until January 4th. Specific events from December 23rd-25th include Holy Night Special and Xmas Live Snow Falling Christmas, with music and jazz performances at Tokyo, Shinjuku, Yokohama, Fukuoka, Okayama, and Kyoto locations. Tokyo JP will feature Dream Snow, the Advent Calendar Lottery, Xmas Lover's Tree, and Fortune Museum Christmas Limited Version. Events run until late December, early January at select locations. All-you-can-ride passes are 2,800 yen, 2,300 yen in Okayama. On sale from January 14th, minus 31 stone. The advertisement encourages visitors with, "DC is boiling, play at JP." This page showcases an advertisement for Joyopolis amusement parks across Japan, highlighting their various locations in Tokyo, Shinjuku, Yokohama, Fukuoka, Okayama, and Kyoto. Each location's address, access information, operating hours, and entrance fees are detailed. The advert promotes special Christmas-themed prizes available at Joyopolis's ATP the UFO Catcher, featuring plush toys of characters like Anpanman, Sesame Street characters, and Garfield. Featured attractions include Five Senses Gardens, Asteroid Zone Time of Armageddon, inspired by the movie Armageddon, and Drift Kart. The page also advertises a year-end countdown event at Joyopolis, including a countdown night passport and live performances by artists Jodans and Sakato Korokoro at different Joyopolis locations on December 31st. This page showcases special Christmas and year-end events at several amusement parks. Namco Wonder Eggs 2 is holding a candle Christmas event until December 25th, featuring a romantic candlelit atmosphere and marriage ceremonies. Namco Namjatown has Christmas illuminations and events until December 25th, with stage shows and lucky draws, and a New Year's event on December 31st. Sanrio Puroland is hosting Christmas events until December 25th, featuring Hello Kitty and other Sanrio characters, including Christmas parties and parades. Lastly, Yomiuriland presents Teddy Bear Xmas until December 25th, with a giant teddy bear display and Chinese acrobatic performances from January 1st to 7th. They are also advertising Countdown Carnival at Puroland for New Year's Eve, offering a special countdown passport ticket. Each park is giving away entrance tickets or passports to a limited number of groups. This page details Christmas events at Neo Geo World and Neo Geo Land theme parks, highlighting special Xmas special information at Neo Geo Bowl, with events on the 24th and 25th of December and a countdown event on the 31st across multiple locations. Neo Geo Land stores are also hosting Christmas services throughout December, including dance memorials, wrapping services, and cake and champagne services at different store locations and dates. The page also promotes Web Xmas, a way to experience Christmas online using your Dreamcast and Dream Passport, suggesting you can enjoy a new Christmas party at home. It lists various Christmas-themed websites and links, encouraging readers to answer questionnaires for a chance to win prizes. Finally, there's a present campaign where you can apply to win tickets to featured venues by sending in an application before December 24th, and a mention of a 3 Santa Claus special event on Yahoo Japan for more Christmas information. This page introduces Dreamcast, the official Dreamcast online homepage, showcasing its rich content. The page details 4 main content categories. The Game Information section features daily DC news for up-to-date game news, and Game Burn for release schedules. In the Variety section, you'll find online magazine-style content such as Daily Dory Bento, Monkey Bald Heaven, Dory Baka, Singer, Anakara Squad, and more. The Communication section offers features like Dream Map, Mail Chum, and Dory Guest for users to connect and interact. Lastly, the Helpful section provides resources like Special Features, Beginner's Dojo, Service Counter, and Dory Blay 64 inches for assistance and event information. The article highlights Dory Guest in particular, which features interviews with game developers. Accessing Dreamcast is described as simple using the Dreamcast, and the website address is provided as http://www.dreamcast.com. This page introduces Dreamcast and features an interview with Makoto Kawano, the producer. Kawano explains the concept of Dreamcast, emphasizing its network capabilities and how it will bring a new paradigm shift in entertainment, similar to the PAC's internet evolution, now coming to the Dreamcast through its built-in modem. He mentions that while Dreamcast's capabilities are limited compared to PCs, the aim is to create unique and fun content. The interview touches upon content curation, suggesting a focus on digestible content for Dreamcast users, who are considered to be new to internet networking. He mentions Dreamflyer, a feature that makes sending emails easy using pre-designed postcards and stamps. The page highlights that Dreamflyer is another project produced by Kawano himself, showcasing Sega's commitment to providing accessible and enjoyable experiences. The next page is teased to feature MailCham, which seems to be related to the email functionality. Kawano's profile details his role as the head of network content research and development at Sega, and mentions his experience in creating hit magazines. This page introduces MailChum, a novel communication system accessible via Dreamcast. enabling players to exchange emails with in-game characters. The page details a three-step process: selecting a character, composing and sending an email to the character's designated Dreamcast address, and anticipating a personalized reply within a few days. An interview with the game's manager explains the concept, emphasizing the unique experience of communicating directly with virtual characters, differentiating it from standard email services. The interview touches upon breaking free from conventional notions of communication and creating an engaging interactive experience, highlighting the example character group, Jet Girls. The manager describes the development process and user feedback, emphasizing the importance of character-driven communication. This page introduces two characters, Mailcham Police and Poochie General, from the Dreamcast Online magazine, Dreamcast. Mailcham Police is presented as the enforcer of good email etiquette within the Mailcham online content. They are described as issuing warnings to users who send problematic emails, like those exceeding character limits or sending too many per day. The profile suggests they are a dedicated, middle-aged security official for Dreamcast, ensuring a pleasant email exchange environment. The advice section highlights email etiquette. Remember, replies are from people, avoid rude messages to keep characters happy, and keep emails concise, around 30 characters, to ensure they are received, with a limit of 1 reply per character per day. Poochie General is the second character interviewed, and is described as delivering detergent to homes. He mentions his enjoyment of his work, ordering Kishu plums online, and his desire to connect with people in a changing world. He humorously talks about conquering homes by distributing detergent, and implies his secret to long life is eating rice porridge and pickled plums. He also mentions his interest in Jet Girls and young men's magazines. His ambition is revealed to be making a giant pot, using Mount Fuji as a stove, to cook for Japanese unification. This feature interviews Jet Girls from the Dreamcast online service, where users interact with real girls. Interviews with RAD and Blue reveal their personalities. Impulsive RAD, scouted while shopping, likes individualistic listeners and is curious about Dreamcast. Calm BLUE, a prompt emailer, enjoys story-driven games and karaoke, describing herself as patient and kind, but lacking individuality. Raspberry 4, a new cute and flirty group following Jet Girls, introduces Morisawa Hiyori, 17, who loves cake and emailing. Her debut interview, Raspberry 4 Izumi Morisawa Hiyori Debut 4, Mailcham, is a fast self-introduction, with other members to come later due to schedule constraints. This page features an article promoting online communication and making friends using email on the Dreamcast. The article, titled "Increasing Friends Via Email is the Best," presents interviews with 3 anime-style characters named Purple, Black, and Pink. They discuss their experiences and offer advice on using email to connect with others online via the Dreamcast service, Dreamcast. The characters share their preferences on email content, how they handle different types of messages, and encourage readers to participate in online interactions and build community. The article emphasizes the fun and positive aspects of online communication on the Dreamcast. This page highlights the Dreamcast software sales ranking, showcasing the top 5 games, and the top spot is Virtua Fighter 3 TB, a fighting game praised as the latest iteration in the VF3 series and a must-have title for Dreamcast owners. This week's sales were around 23,282 units, bringing the total sales to approximately 121,669 units. Second place is Godzilla Generations, an action game where players can experience the thrill of destroying cities as Godzilla. This week it sold 6,632 units, with a total of 21,934 units sold overall. Third position belongs to Pen Tri-Isolon, a party action game designed for multiplayer fun with friends and family. It sold 5,796 units this week, reaching a total of 18,367 units in sales. The fourth-ranked game is July, an adventure title set in July 1999, described as a world's end adventure game. Weekly sales were 5,225 units, and total sales have reached 16,849 units. Also featured on the page is an announcement for the Dreamcast VGA box, set to release on January 14th for 7,000 yen. This device allows Dreamcast connection to PC displays with VGA input, supporting a 31 kHz horizontal sync frequency and D-sub 15-pin analog RGB input. It is compatible with VGA-supported software like Virtua Fighter 3 TB and includes a switch for PC and TV modes. Output options include VGA, S-Video, composite video, and stereo audio. The VGA output in PC mode is emphasized for its superior image quality compared to standard video outputs. This page is a ranking of the most anticipated Dreamcast games as voted for by readers. Grandia 2 is in the top spot with 612 points. It's an RPG, and the text discusses the battle system and magic. Second place is Sonic Adventure with 600 points, scheduled for release on December 23rd for 5,800 yen. With a completion rate of 100% indicated. The article mentions the chow-raising aspect of the game. Sega Rally 2 is in third place with 570 points, set for release on January 14th for 5,800 yen, and the article highlights new courses like SS1 and SS2 and diverse course layouts. The ranking continues with Shenmue in fourth place, Cybertroopers Virtual on Oratorio Tangram in fifth, Biohazard Code, Veronica, Resident Evil Code, Veronica, in sixth, Magical Sword X in seventh, and D no Shokutaku 2, D2, in eighth. Further down the list are games like Psychic Force 2012, a Gundam title, likely Mobile Suit Gundam, Side Story 0079, a King of Fighters game, Puyo Puyon, Sega Pocket Club Football, Kita E, White Illumination, Blue Stinger, Power Stone, and Get Base. The weekly pickup section highlights Armored Trooper Space Griffin in 39th position with 39 points. The article describes the battle screen and robot action, mentioning fast-paced robot battles and full polygon graphics. This page features two video game rankings, a port request top 20 and an video game income ranking top 15. The port request top 20 inches lists games readers would like to see ported to the Dreamcast, with the top spots going to Virtua Striker 2, version 98, the Sakura Wars series, and Rent-A-Hero. Other notable games in this list include Final Fantasy, Street Fighter 03, Knights, Dragon Quest, Soul Calibur, and Metal Gear Solid. The video game income ranking top 15 inches lists the top earning arcade games, with Virtua Striker 2 version 98 and Virtua Fighter 3 TB at the top. Other popular arcade titles mentioned are Street Fighter 03, Cybertroopers Virtual on Oratorio Tangram, The King of Fighters 98, Soul Calibur, Tekken 3, and The House of the Dead 2. There are also highlighted sections for Star Wars Trilogy Arcade, describing it as a game where you can relive scenes from the movie with thrilling tension. Another highlight is for Popping Music, a rhythm game from Konami, describing it as a pop-style game that is quite hard, and mentions a Dreamcast version is planned. Screenshots are shown for Panzer Dragoon Saga and the Langrisser series. The next page is a release date schedule for Dreamcast software and hardware. For software released in December 1998, it highlights Seventh Cross, Sonic Adventure, and Tetris 4D. January 1999 saw the release of Sengoku Turbo, Sega 2, and Jinki Sekai Evolution. February 1999 featured Monaco Grand Prix Racing Simulation 2, Climax Landers, Real Sound, K's No Regret, Aero Dancing featuring Blue Impulse, Get Bass, and Kita E, White Illumination. March 1999 included Blue Stinger, Buggy Heat, Digital Keiba Shinbun, My Trackman, Chohamaru Golf, Cool Borders, and Puyo Puyon. August 1999 had Entertainment Golf and Dai Sugi. December 1999 was slated for Sireki 1999 Pharaoh Zone and Dynamite Robo 2000. This winter was to bring Power Stone. Spring of 1999 was expected to deliver Mahjong Taikai 2 Special, The King of Fighters, Shenmue, Psychic Force 2012, Elemental Gimmick Gear, Kutetsu no Kishi Space Griffin, Little Dream, Seaman, Kindan no Pet, and Frame Gride. Many other games were listed with undecided release dates. On the hardware front, January 1999 saw the Dreamcast VGA box and racing controller launched. February 1999 was planned for the fishing controller. Several other hardware peripherals were also listed with undecided release dates. Finally, it mentions Mosura Dream Battle and Camera Dream Battle as related products utilizing the Dreamcast Visual Memory Unit. This page features game reviews from Dreamcast Magazine. The page reviews two games, Seventh Cross, an RPG by NEC Home Electronics, scheduled for release on December 23rd. It received an average score of 6.66 out of 10 and is considered to have a difficult level of difficulty. Reviewers highlight its challenging nature, especially regarding understanding the evolution system and unclear objectives. One reviewer found the gameplay loop of defeating enemies and collecting parts repetitive and tedious. Another reviewer felt it was a difficult game for players used to modern, kinder game design, while another pointed out the appealing DNA sheet input system and the fun of collecting parts. However, the grotesque character designs were mentioned as a negative aspect. The second game reviewed is Sonic Adventure, an action game by Sega, also scheduled for release on December 23rd. It received a very high average score of 9.33 out of 10 and is rated as having a normal difficulty. Reviewers praise its beautiful 3D graphics and sense of speed, stating that explanations are unnecessary and the game is enjoyable just by playing. The chow-raising aspect is highlighted as appealing and heartwarming. One reviewer expressed being overwhelmed by the game's charm and described it as a buy without hesitation, praising the volume and story development. Another reviewer mentions the immersive experience, feeling like they are inside the monitor playing, and appreciates the chow. Reviewers included are Rei, Yoshi, Ichiban, Tetsu, Samurai Hirono, and Umami Rei. This page features reviews for two games, Tetris 4D and Sonic Adventure. Tetris 4D is reviewed with comments from female users who find it easy to play and enjoyable even for beginners, highlighting its accessible design. Reviews from writers mention it's more than just Tetris due to the added polygon graphics, but some felt it could be better and point out the core game is still basic Tetris. The game received a score of 5.33 out of 7. Sonic Adventure is previewed and reviewed with enthusiastic comments. Reviewers praise its speed, impressive graphics, and the Chow Garden feature. It is described as a masterpiece and very fun, with screenshots showcasing gameplay and cow characters. One reviewer mentions being captivated by the cow-raising aspect and enjoying the game thoroughly, finding it more appealing than other character-based games. This page showcases the Dreamcast Reader's Race, a popularity ranking of Dreamcast games based on reader votes. It highlights the top 4 titles as of December 18th. At number 1 is Virtua Fighter 3 TB, an action title that's praised by readers as expectedly fun and a solid home conversion of the arcade experience. It received a reader average score of 9.6086 and a perfect 10 from the magazine's editorial team. Reader comments mention its depth, calling it a true complete transplant and a game that makes you want to buy a Dreamcast. The second place goes to Godzilla Generations, another action game. Readers enjoy destroying cities as Godzilla, praising the sense of scale and cool camera angles, though some find the enemy attacks overwhelming and the movement a bit slow. It scored a reader average of 7.9411 and an 8.0 from the magazine. Comments mention the excitement of city destruction, but also point out issues like difficult controls and the lack of playable characters beyond Godzilla himself. The third spot is taken by Pengo Triathlon, a racing game, and fourth place is occupied by July, an adventure game. The page also mentions the next highly anticipated title, hinting at Sonic as the next big game expected to enter the rankings soon. This page presents reviews for 3 games released in 1998. Penton Triathlon, a racing game by General Entertainment, November 27th, garnered strong reviews, national average 7.7536, magazine 8.0, for its surprisingly fun gameplay, despite its American cartoon style. Praised for its varied race types, sliding, swimming, running, controlled by analog stick and A button, it was also noted for its character design, multiplayer potential, and visuals. July, an adventure game by 45, November 27th, received mixed scores. National average 6.5714, magazine 5.66. While its scenario, character profiles, atmosphere, and movie sequences were appreciated, the game was criticized for rushed events, lack of voice acting, and needing better sub-character graphics and player-driven story, despite its serious drama focus. Atsumete Godzilla Kaiju Daizenshu, a Sega minigame collection for visual memory, July 11th, received a negative review, primarily due to poor controls, unsatisfying gameplay, painful button response, and broken multiplayer functionality, despite its later potential connection to Godzilla Generation. This page highlights new Dreamcast peripheral information, noting that keyboards and joysticks are popular choices. There's a section called Voice of the Dream Master at the Off-Track Betting Parlor, featuring customer opinions. One person mentions a Virtua Fighter 3 TB commercial, another recalls memories seeing a Ben Ben commercial, and a third jokes about the Dreamcast screensaver being like a company president's demo. The page also presents a Dreamcast peripheral odds table, ranking peripherals by popularity based on reader votes. The top items are the Dreamcast keyboard, arcade stick, visual memory, and Dreamcast controller, each with expected odds and release information. An article discusses the upcoming Virtua Fighter 3 TB and its expected high odds in reader polls. There are details about 2 reader contests. One is a reader's race game with double chance, where readers predict the ranking of NEC Home Electronics' new game, 7th Cross. The other is All Readers Race Participants Welcome, where readers predict the odds for Sonic Adventure. Finally, there is a weekly special present section announcing a prize draw for an arcade stick and visual memory bundle. This page is a special report about Shenmue's production presentation. It highlights that the production presentation will be held on December 20th and is being called The Shocking Moment. The event will take place at the Pacifico Yokohama National Convention Hall, and entry is free. There are 3 sessions scheduled throughout the day. The page also provides details about Shenmue itself, stating it is a Sega title planned for release next spring, with the price yet to be determined. It's described as free, full reactive eyes entertainment. Finally, it mentions a special disc called Project Berkeley that was included with the Dreamcast version of Virtua Fighter 3 TB, with distribution ending on December 18th. This disc is related to Shenmue, as Project Berkeley was the working title for Shenmue. This page details the location for the announcement of Yu Suzuki's latest game, which is Shenmue. It highlights that the presentation will be held at Pacifico Yokohama. The page shows various images of the Pacifico Yokohama complex, including the entrance lobby and a beautiful stained glass artwork inside named Constellation 94 Yokohama, which was created for the opening of the venue in 1994. The article reassures readers that, despite Yokohama being a bit out of the way for some, it's a fantastic location, with plenty to offer, including shopping and entertainment around the venue. It mentions that unlike previous Sega events at Tokyo International Forum for games like D2 and Sonic Adventure, this time the presentation takes place in Yokohama, offering a different atmosphere with views of the sea and Bay Bridge. It also points out that 1998 was a significant year for Yokohama, referencing the Yokohama Bay Stars baseball team's championship win. The article emphasizes that the Shenmue announcement event is a major event, marking the culmination of a hot year for Yokohama. A map of the Pacifico Yokohama area is provided, pointing out landmarks like Nippon Maru Memorial Park, Landmark Tower, and Queen Square, along with access information by train to Sakuragicho Station and parking availability at the venue. This page is a guide to the Pacifico Yokohama venue for the Shenmue production presentation. The event is happening on December 20th, and the guide highlights the venue's interior spaces, assuring attendees that all seats are reserved for comfort. The evening atmosphere at Pacifico Yokohama is described as having a Christmas mood, with illuminations and light displays. The text mentions that this is the 2nd or 3rd presentation of Shenmue, and expresses excitement for the event, highlighting the beautiful sea view from the venue and encouraging attendees to enjoy the presentation by Sega. The page also features nighttime photos of Yokohama with Christmas lights, including the Yokohama Grand Intercontinental Hotel and the Nippon Maru Memorial Park. This page reveals the cutting-edge CG technology behind hand movements in the upcoming Dreamcast title, Shenmue. It highlights the realistic hand motions achieved in the game, showcasing various hand gestures as examples. This hand motion technology, developed by AM2 Research, is presented as a major advancement. Screenshots of what appears to be Virtua Fighter 3 inches are used to illustrate the progression of graphics and to contrast with the detailed hand animation in Shenmue. The article mentions that the main character of Shenmue is set to be unveiled at an upcoming press conference, generating anticipation. Character art is shown for Ling Xiaohua and Ren Wuying, along with a question mark image for the main character, keeping their identity a secret for the reveal event. The text emphasizes how Shenmue is pushing boundaries in game technology, particularly in rendering natural and detailed hand movements, which were previously a challenge in CG games. This page is a promotional advert for Sonic Adventure on Dreamcast, announcing a 25-page special feature in the magazine to celebrate the game's imminent release on December 23rd. The advert highlights it as the best present of 1998 from Sonic Team. It also mentions the game is priced at 5,800 yen and is an action game compatible with VM and communication features. The image features Sonic and Cow characters dressed in Santa outfits, emphasizing the Christmas release period. This page announces the completion of Sonic Adventure and its approaching release date of December 23rd. The article details a celebration at Sega headquarters 16 days before release on December 7th, featuring a giant Sonic balloon and photos with the development team. It highlights the massive 1 GB size of the game on GDROM. Additionally, it introduces Sonic on the Internet through Dream Passport Sonic Edition, revealing plans for a dedicated Sonic Adventure homepage, online bulletin boards, and downloadable content like Cow and mini-games for the Dreamcast, marking a new online dimension for Sonic games. The page includes screenshots of the Dream Passport interface and various photos from the celebration event. This page is a Sonic Adventure special feature counting down to the game's release in just 5 days. It's a 25-page deep dive into the game. The feature highlights the concept of chaos evolving as it absorbs emeralds, transforming into different forms. The page also introduces the A-Life Chow system, with details on raising Chow in the Chow Garden, and even racing them in the Chow Stadium. The contents section of this feature covers how to play for newcomers to Sonic Adventure, the A-Life Chow element in detail, information on the game's stages, and spotlights on the playable characters: Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, E102Y, and Big. Finally, there's an interview and Q&A section with a member of the Sonic Team development team. Screenshots showcase Chaos's transformations and gameplay in the Cow Garden and Cow Stadium, emphasizing the connectivity with the Dreamcast's visual memory unit for taking your Cow on the go and further enhancing the Cow raising experience. The page directs readers to specific pages for more in-depth information on each of these aspects of Sonic Adventure. This guide details the basic controls for playing Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast. Movement is controlled by the analog stick, jump by the A button, height dependent on press duration, and character-specific actions use the B or X buttons. Camera angles are adjusted with directional buttons, forward up, and triggers, rotate left right. Players can hold, shake, swing, throw, and place items using B or X. These core controls are universal across all 6 playable characters. The game features level-up items that grant special abilities. Examples of character-specific actions include Sonic's Lightspeed Dash, Tails' Tail Attack, Knuckles' Digging, Amy's Rotation Hammer, Big's Water Surface Movement, and Gamma's Hovering. Finding level-up items and mastering these actions is crucial to gameplay. This page serves as a guide on how to play and enjoy Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast. It details the play modes, primarily Adventure Mode, the main story experience where you start as Sonic and gradually unlock and play as 6 main characters: Tails, Knuckles, Amy, E102 Gamma, and Big the Cat. Trial Mode is also mentioned as a way to replay stages for high scores. The guide explains how the visual memory unit is used to save game data, differentiating between main save data, A-Life data, and a special Osanpo Adventure Mode save, each needing different block sizes on the VMU. It also covers game option settings like difficulty and sound test functions. The page highlights Sonic Adventure's internet connectivity, allowing players with the Dreamcast Dream Passport to access the game's official website and engage in some form of network surfing. Furthermore, it mentions how the visual memory screen dynamically changes during gameplay, showing character portraits, game logos, and information about Chow. Lastly, the page teases future internet functionalities for the Dreamcast, referencing Sega Rally 2 in the context of online gaming possibilities. It confirms Sonic Adventure's Japanese release date as December 23rd and its price at 5,800 yen. This page is about the zapping story system in Sonic Adventure International for the Dreamcast. It explains how the game uses 2 types of scenes: adventure fields and action stages. Adventure fields are for exploration and event triggering, leading to action-focused action stages. The game starts with Sonic in Station Square, enjoying vacation. The page details the scenario progression, starting with Sonic, then moving to Tails after completing Emerald Coast, and then to Amy's scenario, which begins in Station Square after she helps a bird. It also mentions hint balls in adventure fields to guide players, and shows screenshots of Station Square and action stages, as well as Sonic, Tails, and Amy in-game. This page is all about Sonic Adventure, detailing the game's items and minigames. The Get Items section explains how item boxes are found in stages and lists various items you can collect. These include High Speed, which temporarily increases speed, Rings, Invincible for temporary invincibility, Barrier to protect from one hit, Level Up items to enhance character abilities, and 1 UP to add a life. Each playable character has a unique level up item. For Sonic, it's Light Shoes and Sunlight Light. For Tails, it's Rhythm Brooch. For Knuckles, it's Shovel Claw. For Amy, it's Warrior's Feather. For E102YE, it's High Output Booster. And for Big, it's the Life Belt. The page then highlights the numerous fun mini-games available in Sonic Adventure. These are Sky Chase, Sandhill, Hedgehog Hammer, Ice Cap, Twinkle Circuit, and Cow Race, each with a brief description and screenshot. Sky Chase features Tails flying the tornado, Sandhill is a snowboarding game on sand, Hedgehog Hammer involves Amy using her hammer, Ice Cap is snowboarding on snow, Twinkle Circuit is a racing game, and Cow Race is a race featuring cow creatures. Finally, the one-point advice for each stage section discusses emblems. These emblems are earned in adventure stages by achieving A, B, or C ranks, with one emblem awarded per rank and stage. Collecting emblems shows game progress and is presented as a goal for players to become the strongest player. The page shows a screenshot of the emblem results screen. The A-Life system in Sonic Adventure revolves around raising cow in Chow Gardens. A guide details cow care in 3 steps. Hatching eggs found in gardens through gentle interaction, influencing initial cow disposition, nurturing cow in the garden where time progresses, and items from action stages like animals and fruits impact development, and utilizing the visual memory, VM, for portable raising. VM outings unlock unique parameter growth through routes, chow mail, and minigames, with fruits and minigames in the VM menu further boosting cow stats. Crucially, A-Life A data is separate, advising players to dedicate a save file to cow gardens for easy access without hindering garden access later in the game. The page showcases screenshots of cow interaction and VM usage. This page is all about raising cow in Sonic Adventure. It gives tips on how to raise your chow well, including communicating with them to build affection and introducing them to small animals, which influences their characteristics. You can use your visual memory, VMU, to take your chow out and check their parameters like stamina, flying, running, and power. Once your cow is well raised, you can enter them into cow races at the cow stadium. There are different types of races like jewel and beginner races, and even multiplayer entry. The page also introduces a cow walking minigame, where you can take your cow on walks, encountering random events, and choosing paths to explore. It seems like raising chow and participating in races is a key part of the fun in Sonic Adventure. The next page focuses on the world of Sonic Adventure. It highlights the stage concept, emphasizing that the game's world is vast and interconnected. It mentions 3 adventure fields, which are large areas, each containing several action stages. Adventure Field 1 is showcased with the location Station Square, described as a city centered around a station, featuring skyscrapers and resort beaches. Action stages within Adventure Field 1 shown are Emerald Coast, a beach stage with white sand, Casino Police, a glittering palace of pleasure by night, and Speed Highway, a stage that winds through buildings. Adventure Field 2 is represented by Mystic Ruins, described as a jungle with deep green forests and mysterious ruins, contrasting with the urban setting of Adventure Field 1. Action stages in Adventure Field 2 displayed are Twinkle Park, a stage where you can enjoy attractions, and Windy Valley, a stage within a valley filled with strong winds that obscure the path ahead. The page also has a section titled, Check, Still More? Action Stages, indicating there are many more action stages in Sonic Adventure beyond those showcased. This section lists several stage names including Emerald Coast, Windy Valley, Twinkle Park, Speed Highway, and Red Mountain, under the Trial Action category for Sonic the Hedgehog. This page is about the expansive world of Sonic Adventure, highlighting how much there is to explore. It showcases several action stages within the game, including Skydeck, set on the Egg Carrier exterior, Red Mountain, a magma-filled volcanic area, Lost World, a giant pyramid with mysterious mechanisms, and Ice Cap, an icy cavern with dinosaur fossils. Another stage, called Hot Shelter, is mentioned as a stage with unknown details, supposedly located inside the egg carrier. The page also discusses Dr. Eggman's ambition to conquer the world by building Eggmanland after destroying Station Square and the egg carrier. He aims to control Chaos, an unknown life form, by harnessing the power of the Chaos Emeralds. The next page showcases a feature on Sonic Adventure, titled Sonic the Hedgehog, Block Eggman's Ambition. It highlights Sonic as the main character available from the start, describing him as a free-spirited hedgehog known for his super speed. The preview sets the scene in Station Square, where Sonic confronts a mysterious liquid life form and learns of Dr. Eggman's schemes. Gameplay details are presented under Play Objective, Aim for the Stage Goal, explaining that the game's goal is to reach the capsule at the end of each stage, rescuing animals trapped within. Capsules can also be found in other locations within stages. The Screenshot Game Scene Collection section describes the story's appeal as the interaction between Sonic and Eggman, highlighting their eternal rivalry. It also mentions Sonic's cool demeanor, sometimes hiding a weaker side, and how he might end up being chased by Amy. The page includes screenshots from Station Square, showcasing Sonic's gameplay and dialogue interactions with Tails. One screenshot shows the character selection screen with Sonic's name and Sonic the Hedgehog title. It also mentions Sonic Team's focus on delivering super speed gameplay, encouraging players to use items, defeat enemies, and skillfully aim for the goal. This page is dedicated to Sonic Adventure, providing tips and advice for players. It begins by detailing the early stages of Sonic's story, mentioning scenes in Station Square, Emerald Coast, and Mystic Ruin. The guide highlights encounters with Chaos, Sonic's reunion with Tails, and the appearance of Dr. Eggman in Mystic Ruin, where Sonic faces him in the Egg Hornet. The page then moves into Action for Sonic, explaining basic actions like the spin attack and homing attack, activated by the A button, with the homing attack performed in midair. It also covers the spin dash, activated by the B or X button, used for acceleration and attacking enemies, as well as level-up actions like the Lightspeed attack and Lightspeed dash, triggered by B or X button press then release, which is described as available after obtaining the Lightspeed shoes and used to attack specific enemies along rings. Finally, How to Fund Sonic encourages players to immerse themselves in the rapidly unfolding story, suggesting that even though Sonic is a starting character, the game's development, akin to a roller coaster, is captivating. It specifically recommends experiencing Wind Valley in Stage 2, praising the dynamic gameplay. The page also hints at the desire to play as other characters later in the game. This page is dedicated to Miles Tails' prowess in Sonic Adventure. It announces Tails as the second playable character and highlights his gameplay. The page explains Tails' background as a mechanic fox who admires Sonic and uses his two tails to fly. In Sonic Adventure, Tails aims to surpass Sonic, who he has always been chasing after. The gameplay objective for Tails is, go to the goal before Sonic. The article explains that in Tails' story, you will encounter him in Emerald Coast. By clearing Emerald Coast, Tails becomes playable as the second character. Screenshots show Tails in action, including grabbing a Chaos Emerald and using his flight ability to take shortcuts. The text emphasizes using Tails' unique flying ability to find shortcuts and beat Sonic to the goal in each course. It mentions that while flying for a long time, Tails can get tired and fall. The From Sonic Team section encourages players to enjoy Tails' gameplay, which involves chasing after Sonic. But now, as a grown-up Tails, you need to surpass Sonic by using his unique abilities and finding shortcut courses. This guide page for Sonic Adventure focuses on Tails, dubbed Mega-like Fox, and Prover, offering advice for players. It highlights Tails' origins as Sonic's partner and his central role in this game, questioning if he can surpass Sonic. Scene descriptions detail gameplay in Mystic Ruin, Windy Valley, and Casino Polis, providing tips for navigating each area and battling enemies. The guide explains Tails' actions, propeller flight, and spin attack, along with the leveled-up continuous spin attack. Tails' operation point advises players to manage flight carefully and monitor the distance meter, emphasizing that Tails needs to reach the goal before Sonic. The How to Fund Tails commentary discusses Tails' character development, popularity, and voice debut. The page concludes with notes about the tornado malfunctioning, Chaos's transformation, and Tails' quest to find Sonic after the crash. This page introduces Knuckles the Echidna as a playable character in Sonic Adventure. Guardian of the Master Emerald on Angel Island, Knuckles is easily fooled by Eggman. His gameplay centers around his powerful punches and gliding, as he searches for shattered Master Emerald pieces. Playable after meeting him in Mystic Ruin once Sonic and Tails each have 2 emeralds, Knuckles stages task players with finding 3 emerald shards in enclosed areas. A radar and sound cues assist in locating shards, which can be buried or held by enemies. Developers highlight Knuckles' gameplay as a new search-focused style within the Sonic series, utilizing radar and gliding through varied locations. Playing as Knuckles reveals surprising story elements. This feature highlights Knuckles the Echidna in Sonic Adventure, a powerful rival to Sonic. Gameplay with Knuckles emphasizes his unique gliding and wall climbing abilities for level navigation. His moves include gliding, holding A, wall climbing, gliding into walls, punch attacks, B or X, and digging, A, B, X together, to find items, especially emeralds, crucial for his stages. Screenshots from Speed Highway, Casino Polis, and Station Square are featured. The storyline involves Knuckles searching for Master Emerald shards in Station Square, encountering Dr. Eggman and Chaos. Gameplay tips focus on mastering gliding and climbing to reach high areas and utilize digging for emerald hunting and story progression. Knuckles offers a distinct, exploration, and treasure-focused gameplay experience compared to other characters. This page introduces Amy Rose as a playable character in Sonic Adventure. The page highlights Amy as Sonic's self-proclaimed girlfriend and details her gameplay style, which is described as hiding, hitting, and running around with a little bird. The main objective when playing as Amy in Station Square is to escape from Eggman's robot Zero and grab the balloon. Screenshots showcase Amy in various gameplay moments, including interacting with other characters like Sonic and escaping from Zero. The text emphasizes that Amy's gameplay is enjoyable, particularly for players who prefer female characters or are not adept at action games, as her playstyle involves avoiding direct combat and utilizing stealth and puzzle elements. This page is about Amy Rose in Sonic Adventure, part of a series covering the game's main characters. It introduces Amy as a playable character, different from the previous three. The page details her story in the game, starting in Twinkle Park, where she gets separated from Sonic and is pursued by Zero. It covers scenes in Station Square and the Egg Carrier, where she encounters a robot. The page explains Amy's gameplay mechanics, focusing on her hammer attacks, including a regular hammer attack, hammer jump, and jump attack. It also details level-up actions, such as the spinning hammer and Pico Pico hammer big rotation. Tips for playing as Amy are provided, noting her lack of spinning attack and suggesting players focus on running and evading enemies, using hammer attacks strategically. The How to Fun Amy section talks about Amy's image change and how popular she is with fans. This page showcases the character E102 Gamma from the upcoming Dreamcast game Sonic Adventure. It's part of a 25-page special feature in Dreamcast Magazine. Gamma is described as a new character, a high-performance shooting robot created by Dr. Eggman from the E100 series. Initially doubted by Eggman, Gamma proves his worth. His special ability is lock-on shooting, making for exhilarating gameplay. The page highlights that in Gamma's story, he encounters Amy Rose on the Egg Carrier. Playing his scenario will reveal the reasons behind his actions. The core gameplay objective for Gamma is to destroy targets at the goal point within a time limit. This time-limited gameplay and lock-on shooting are unique to Gamma among the characters. A screenshot section focuses on famous scenes from Gamma's story, emphasizing a dramatic and serious narrative, where Gamma ends up betraying Dr. Eggman. The developers from Sonic Team encourage players to enjoy Gamma's unique gameplay and find their own strategies within the time-limited levels. E102 Gamma from Sonic Adventure is presented as a unique character focusing on lock-on shooting gameplay. His story begins with a victory against E101 Beta, leading to his induction into Eggman's forces, scenes of which include chasing a frog and confronting Sonic. Gameplay revolves around standard laser/gun lock-on attacks, and transformation into car and water modes for faster travel. Level-up actions feature hovering and high-pressure booster hover for aerial maneuvers. Success with Gamma requires careful time management to maximize score by mastering movement and lock-on shooting. The text also explores Gamma's deeper character, drawing parallels to artificial human Kikaider and pondering his independent will as a form of rebellion, highlighting his troubled electronic brain. Images showcase E100 robots, Eggman's mechs, and a depiction of Gamma seemingly losing control, suggesting significant plot developments. This page introduces Big the Cat in Sonic Adventure, highlighting his unique fishing gameplay. The page emphasizes the relaxed and leisurely nature of Big's gameplay, which is a contrast to the other characters. The core objective is to find Froggy, Big's frog friend, through fishing in various locations. Big's story begins in Mystic Ruins, where he lives peacefully with Froggy. When Froggy suddenly grows a tail and runs away with a Chaos Emerald, Big embarks on a journey to find him. His gameplay involves fishing with a rod and lure in different areas. The page mentions that you can encounter Big in Station Square after clearing Ice Cap with Sonic or Tails. The gameplay objective for Big is clearly stated as finding Froggy and fishing him up. The game description explains that the stages for Big involve successfully fishing for Froggy. It also notes that you need to be careful not to lose your lure and that you can also aim for catching big fish. The developer comment encourages players to enjoy the leisurely fishing style of Big's gameplay, emphasizing the fun of clearing stages and aiming for large catches. The screenshots showcase Big in action, fishing, and interacting with Froggy. The text in the screenshots includes dialogue like Big saying, "Froggy, where did you go?" when Froggy is missing, and "Hit!" when he catches a fish. The page points out that Big's gameplay is distinct from other characters, offering a unique experience within Sonic Adventure. This guide details playing as Big the Cat in Sonic Adventure, whose gameplay centers around fishing. Big's story involves 3 scenes chasing Froggy: Twinkle Park Pond, use lures; Ice Cap Lake, get lifebelt, break ice; and Emerald Coast Beach, catch Froggy, then Mosquito Robot takes him. Fishing controls use B/X to cast, analog stick for lure, and A to reel in, managing winding strength and rod direction. Big floats automatically and dives with the analog stick. While slow and with a low jump, Big is strong and can lift heavy objects. The guide encourages catching various fish types using lures like crankbait. Key takeaways highlight Big's unexpected strength, the presence of a dinosaur fossil in Ice Cap, and the appearance of a robot mosquito. This page presents an interview and Q&A with Sonic Team upon completing Sonic Adventure for Dreamcast. The team recounts a lengthy and challenging development, expressing satisfaction with the final product, which they believe sets a future standard. They emphasize the game's extensive content, polish, and the new Dreamcast Internet connectivity features. The Q&A reveals hidden power-up items and 6 minigames. While the exact rewards for Big the Cat's fishing remain vague, hints suggest potential secrets and even online fishing tournaments. Peripheral support is under consideration for future Sonic games. Screenshots showcase gameplay with Sonic and Big fishing, alongside a Dreamcast Internet menu. The page concludes with photos of Sonic Team celebrating the game's completion. This Sonic Team Q&A, part of a magazine feature on Sonic Adventure, delves into the game's Cow Garden. KO personalities are shaped by player interactions and new personality elements. Mixing animals and chaos affects KO, with secret outcomes encouraging experimentation. Future magazines will offer hints about KO interactions. Overfeeding Chao may be detrimental, and good or bad treatment influences KO Garden events. Attacking Chao is discouraged, causing them to sulk, emphasizing careful handling. VMU minigames, Umiai, and Taikeitsu offer potential benefits for Chao raising and social play. Winning Chao races is more rewarding than losing, with secret elements tied to victories, motivating players to nurture their Chao for races. This page is a special report for the Dreamcast game Poppin' Music. This arcade music game, known as Otoge, or sound game, is coming to the Dreamcast. The page highlights that the game is full of many unique and cute characters with music. The text mentions that the game uses 9 buttons and is easy to play, just hit the buttons with the rhythm. It also states that you can split the buttons and play with everyone. The game is being published by Konami, and the release date and price are yet to be determined. It also mentions that the game is compatible with a special controller. The bottom of the page has a tagline that translates to, "Fun music will liven up your home." Poppin' Music is a rhythm game where players hit buttons in time with falling popcorns on 9 lines to play musical notes and complete songs. The game features characters like Mary, a 19-year-old Japanese dancer, and musician challenging rivals in a POP dance. Gameplay is made more challenging with Ojama distractions such as Kakushi Ojama, where objects hide popcorns, and Zurashi Ojama, where they move sideways and change shape. The arcade version uses a 9-button controller, while the Dreamcast version uses 6 buttons, including triggers, with a special controller also available. Another character is King, the King of Music, a flamboyant American musician popular with girls who enjoys American Ball. This page details the basic game modes of Poppin' Music for Dreamcast, stating that there are 3 modes. It explains that in each mode, the difficulty gradually increases over 3 songs, and the game is over if a song is not cleared. The page highlights that the Dreamcast version of Poppin' Music features original modes not found in the arcade version, such as a practice mode and a free mode where previously played songs can be replayed. The page introduces the characters Mimi and Nyami, describing Mimi as being from Japan and having shopping as a hobby, and Nyami as also being from Japan and enjoying amusement parks. Mimi and Nyami are described as a popular duo who perform together. The page also explains the beginner mode, which is presented by Mimi and Nyami as instructors. It describes how beginner mode teaches the rules of the game in an easy-to-understand way, even for people unfamiliar with rhythm games. The first song in beginner mode is a practice song to help players learn the timing. It emphasizes that even beginners can easily enjoy the game thanks to this mode. This page introduces different musical genres available in the game Poppin' Music. It showcases 4 distinct sections: Fantasy, J-Techno, represented by Shulky, Pops, featuring Ree, and Rap, starring Jam Uncle. Each section highlights a character associated with the genre, along with a screenshot of gameplay and a brief description of the music style and character. For the fantasy section, we see Dino, a dinosaur character described as a prince from Martian Kingdom who loves Beatmania and enjoys rhythmic and melodic tunes. The J-Techno section features Shulky, a cool-looking but kind musician popular in Japan, known for beautiful melodies in the style of TK music. The Pops section introduces Rigi, an 18-year-old fashion-conscious girl whose music is described as easy to understand. Lastly, the Rap section presents Jam Uncle, a well-known character who brings a rap challenge to the game, with fun hand-clapping parts. It is also noted that Beatmania did not have a Jam Uncle character. Each character's origin is listed as Japan. This page is focused on Stage 2 of a Dreamcast rhythm game, highlighting that it is significantly more challenging than Stage 1, especially noting the increased need for simultaneous button presses in songs. 4 playable characters are introduced. Jamel from America, who loves to dance and plays dance techno music described as easy except for button mashing. Judy, mentioned as someone fun to compare dances with against Mary. Camel, a mysterious and stylish beauty of unknown age who plays 80s disco-inspired house music with Stage 3 difficulty and techniques like 3-button presses. Olivia from Jamaica, who enjoys swimming and plays slow reggae music which, despite being slow, is technically demanding with simultaneous and 3-button presses. And Don Mami from South America, who likes playing instruments and performs Latin music that is cheerful and easy except for percussion-heavy sections. The page also mentions that players can choose their character at the start, just like in arcades, and even customize their color, although this is purely for aesthetic preference. This page is about Poppin' Music, highlighting Stage 3 as a particularly challenging stage with tough songs for intermediate players, especially the songs Spy and Disco King. It introduces several characters: Charlie, Toru, Kraft, and Bamboo. Toru is described as a wild boy from Yokohama, the son of a pachinko parlor owner, with a hero-themed song, Kraft. Kraft is a robot-turned-house husband, playing old-fashioned chiptune techno-pop, with slightly easier gameplay but tricky simultaneous presses. Bamboo's song is a funky soul track known for being very difficult due to 4 simultaneous presses and continuous button presses. The page also hints at more hidden characters and original songs that might appear in the Dreamcast version, along with existing arcade songs, teasing further announcements in the next issue. This year-end interview with Naito Kan explores his work on Dreamcast visual memory games, especially for the RPG Climax Landers. Kan, initially overseeing Climax Landers as a producer, became deeply involved in planning and producing numerous minigames for the visual memory, expressing eagerness to release them. He revealed creating around 50 minigames, aiming for about 10 in the final game, with development times ranging from 2 days to over a month. A small team of 3, including Kan, a programmer, and an artist, rapidly developed these games. Climax Landers, a Sega RPG priced at 5,800 yen and visual memory compatible, is set to release on February 25, 1999. Screenshots preview mini-games like What Kind of Yogurt? Kan is confident in the quality of the visual memory games and anticipates player surprise at the visual memory's potential, noting enthusiastic reception at the Tokyo Game Show. This page announces 3 brand new dedicated visual memory games for Dreamcast. The featured games include What Yogurt?, which seems to be about observing the unpredictable life of yogurt. Tuyu Dokutan IV is a real-time 3D dungeon RPG and Zettai editor, described as a simple dot editor that can link with the main game console. The page includes interviews with Naito, who discusses the development process of these VMU games. He mentions that initially, they considered race and shooting games, but face challenges with the VMU's screen resolution. He explains that Zetai Editor came from the idea of wanting to create something for portable art creation and connects to the main game. There are also mentions of 4-panel manga-style content being included. Naito expresses excitement about the potential of visual memory and its ability to offer unique gaming experiences. This page is a Dreamcast special report showcasing a new RPG game designed specifically for the Dreamcast Visual Memory Unit. The title seems to be called Tsuyu Daku IV, and it's described as a real-time automatic dungeon generation RPG that pushes the limits of the visual memory. The article highlights how players initially thought visual memory was just for saving data, but this game proves it can be used for genuine gameplay experiences. It features randomly generated 3D dungeons that players can explore. You can see screenshots showing the dungeon view, the player's HP gauge, an auto-mapping system, and the player's facing direction. The game is being developed by Climax, and it is mentioned that the core concept originates from Shining in the Darkness, a classic RPG. The text expresses excitement about this minigame title, which they refer to as Shai Daku, noting that longtime Sega fans will recognize the connection to Shining in the Darkness. The article emphasizes the deep gameplay and satisfying experience offered by Tsuyu Daku IV, despite being a bonus game for the visual memory. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast game Tsuyu Daku IV, part of the Climax Landers series. It's presented as a 3D dungeon RPG with intense strategic battles. The page highlights key gameplay mechanics, starting with the attack system, where damage is determined by a POW stat that depletes with each attack but recovers over time, emphasizing real-time tactical decisions. The defense system involves HP reduction when defending, urging players to strategically manage their health and consider fleeing from tough enemies. The game allows for simultaneous attack and defense in real time, adding depth to the combat. Events are also featured, likened to those in Shining in the Darkness, where players encounter fairies in dungeons. There are 4 types of fairies, and events may not always be beneficial. A notable feature is the Zeko Editor, Summit Editor, or Climax Editor, a visual memory editor that lets players create graffiti which can then appear in the main game. You can even draw manga, with examples shown of yogurt-themed comics hinting at the creative possibilities of this editor. The page emphasizes the deep gameplay and creative tools offered in Climax Landers IV. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast game King's Tomb Connected, which is also known as Ryle and Frender's Great Adventure, internationally released as Rune Jade or Rune Caster. The article introduces the game's story, where the treasure hunter Ryle finds himself in a world from a past Climax work, connected to the King's Tomb pieces. It highlights the dungeon exploration aspect and introduces characters like Ryle and Frender. Screenshots show in-game scenes, including dialogue boxes and environments that appear to be dungeons. The article mentions earthquakes and treasure hunting as key elements. It poses questions about the protagonist Ryle and their adventure in this mysterious dungeon. The text also refers to the game as an Indiana Jones-style ancient ruins adventure with treasure and traps. In Climax Landers, players explore King's Tomb with treasure hunter Lyle, a scenic spot rumored to hold vast treasures, but filled with suspicious old men creating a tense atmosphere. Rivals Zunz and Dond, the dungeon mud brothers, also seek the tomb's riches, but are hindered by the need for dungeon badges. Players will encounter a souvenir shop with mysterious items and helpful blacksmith brothers. The King's Tomb dungeon is a giant maze, like Egyptian pyramids, designed by ancient rulers to showcase power and filled with traps and tomb keepers guarding treasures and royal remains. Navigation relies heavily on maps and radar, considered lifelines for dungeon exploration, essential to avoid fatal consequences. The game page urges players to come quickly to help and features a picture of a winged female character. This page is a Dreamcast feature reporting on the super big game fishing title, which is Get Bass, also known as Sega Bass Fishing internationally. This article highlights that the Dreamcast version will feature enhanced graphics compared to the arcade version and will include new lure types, specifically rubber jig and straight worm. The developers at Sega AM1 are quoted as saying that the new lures are soft lures, made of rubber or plastic, and might be featured in an original mode. The game is described as a fishing simulation, where players can enjoy catching big bass, and the Dreamcast version is being developed to allow a more relaxed and careful fishing experience. The game is reported to be 50% complete, and is planned for release in February 1999, with fishing controller support being considered. This page is previewing the game Get Bass, which compares the graphics between the arcade and Dreamcast versions, highlighting the high fidelity of the Dreamcast port, noting that it's almost indistinguishable from the arcade. The article emphasizes the graphical power of the Dreamcast, using screenshots to demonstrate the visual parity. It introduces a new lure called Paddle Tail and describes its function as creating subtle movements in the water. There's also a section discussing a new fishing controller being developed for the game, mentioning that it's almost complete and will offer realistic pulling sensations when a bass is hooked. The article expresses excitement for the controller's release. The screenshots show gameplay in both arcade and Dreamcast versions, focusing on the fishing action and underwater views. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast game Seventh Cross, a simulation RPG, which is stated as 100% complete and is releasing soon on December 23rd for 5,800 yen. The page features a special interview with the game's producer, Goro Fukugawa, to celebrate its imminent launch. Fukugawa expresses his eagerness to see player reception and understand how users will judge the final product. He reflects on the challenging development, but acknowledges the helpful support from Sega. He also mentions his previous work, including Goddess Reincarnation 2, and his interest in the mixed martial arts event Rings. Interestingly, Fukugawa shares that the initial title idea was Genesis N, emphasizing the importance of neuro and creation myths as foundational elements during the game's 2-year development cycle. A message from the developer indicates that players should brace themselves for a demanding experience, humorously referred to as crab hell, but assures that there will be rewarding progress and evolution beyond the initial difficulty. The next page is a preview of the upcoming game, focusing on its core system and gameplay flow. The game revolves around evolving a player-controlled creature through various stages. It begins with the birth of a primitive life form, which then consumes microorganisms to evolve through 3 stages to reach its origin form. Gameplay involves preying on enemy creatures to accumulate EVP, evolution experience value. This EVP is then used to input DNA sheets, which are patterns used to acquire new body parts and enhance the creature's abilities, making it stronger or increasing its movement range. Players will also need to predate on guardian creatures to progress to the next area. The page highlights that by defeating enemy creatures, players gain body components. DNA sheets are described as a key element, utilizing a SOM, self-organization map system. By inputting patterns, players can acquire parts. For example, a certain pattern could yield leg parts at level 10, or arm parts at level 14. The game boasts an impressive 810,000 possible evolution forms. In a section titled Crab Theme Song, developers mention player feedback highlighting crabs as a significant enemy, leading to the creation of a dedicated theme song just for crabs. Initially, crabs were deemed too strong, but this was considered acceptable. The developers expressed satisfaction with the game's depth, particularly in visually representing creature transformations in realistic graphics. The game being previewed appears to be Genome, which was released only in Japan for the Dreamcast. This page details the evolutionary process in the Dreamcast game Seventh Cross Evolution, a survival-themed title. It showcases different stages of creature evolution across various areas. Starting in the invertebrate area, players are primitive creatures with no attacks, needing to acquire leg parts to navigate caves. The journey progresses to the amphibian area, where mysterious life forms are encountered and the poison ability is gained. The guardian enemies here are giant frogs, with players facing 2 at once in a challenging battle. Next is the fish area, an underwater world where players evolve by defeating enemies in shallow waters to obtain underwater leg parts to delve into the deep sea and face guardian creatures. The page also highlights the importance of collecting parts, specifically mentioning DNA sheets and leg parts. The evolution continues into the insect area, described as a foggy and dangerous place, with elusive enemies and challenging combat, featuring a tough guardian enemy. Finally, the monster shape area presents difficult terrain prone to falls and powerful enemies, also guarded by formidable foes. An interview section reveals that the game's core theme is survival, a key element the developers wanted to emphasize for players. The developer mentions a detailed 60-page planning document, expressing their desire to create a game where players truly feel their presence in the field, initially opting against a map display for this reason. They also state that the movement of some enemy characters was inspired by air anime. This upcoming game preview highlights diverse environments and gameplay elements. The bird-like area is a confusing valley with enemies, requiring leg parts for traversal and featuring guardian creatures. The molten lava area is a hot, enemy-free zone initially, leading to guardians. Another area warns players about jetstream tortoise and bird-type flying enemies. An interview with creator Fukukawa details the artificial life neuro system. He emphasizes player discovery of gameplay rules, comparing its core simplicity to drawing. He suggests players experiment and highlights the Dreamcast's role in enabling sophisticated neuro design, showing a palette interface hinting at character customization or DNA manipulation, linking it to Shenmue's DNA breeding system concept. This page delves into the world of Seventh Cross Evolution and introduces the Mammalian Area, a new location in the game. This area presents a visually open world, unlike previous areas, making it harder to navigate due to the lack of distinct landmarks. The inhabitants of this area, the mammals, are described as intelligent and powerful, requiring players to evolve accordingly to survive. The article poses a question about the relationship between mysterious life forms and stone monuments, suggesting they are integral to area transitions, but their full purpose remains unclear. The page shows screenshots of gameplay featuring the player character facing off against various creatures, including a large feline-like beast and a muscular humanoid enemy, showcasing the game's action elements. There's an interview section where Fukugawa discusses gameplay mechanics, especially part customization, which allows players to create unique creatures, emphasizing the fun and depth of this system. He mentions that areas have different attributes affecting gameplay, like water areas, where certain parts might dissolve. Fukugawa also hints at a deeper story and message within Seventh Cross Evolution, particularly around the Seventh Cross concept, which will become clearer as players progress and reach the ending. He mentions the opening movie is crucial for understanding the narrative and hints at a communication element that might be explored further if the game receives enough player support. This page announces a contest called What and How Creature and Neuro Doctor Contest, related to the Seven Cross project, inviting readers to design creatures using level 30 parts and submit their creations by postcard. The deadline is January 22nd, 1999. There's also a real photo diary segment titled Revenge on the Crab, Delicious? Featuring someone enjoying a crab meal and playing a game. The page describes the Zuwai crab's stats in a game-like format, including attack and defense attributes. Screenshots from the game are shown, titled Heavy Tank and Strange Person Style, depicting creature battles and customization. The text suggests the game is best enjoyed at home while relaxing and eating crab. This page is an advertisement for the official strategy guidebook for the game Noel 3. The guide is for the PC game and promises to teach you how to hack Eco High School, offering essential data for the game. It details affection levels for characters like Yuka, Ayumi, Megumi, China, and Kotumi. It covers story branching, escape mode explanations, setting materials, voice actor interviews, and developer interviews, all within 128 A5 pages for 1,300 yen and coming soon. The next page is from the reader submission section, Guru Pawazu. In the Dream Square section, readers write in about their desire to play Dreamcast online games, with one person's parents worried about the cost and privacy implications of internet access. Another reader is so keen to play Daytona 2, they're cutting back on beauty salon expenses to afford it. The semi-transparent processing segment showcases artwork and text related to dualization and features a character named Hoshino Miyako. There's a fun cartoon celebrating 1999 as the Year of the Rabbit, incorporating Dreamcast themes. Finally, the Christmas and Sonic special feature includes reader submissions about Christmas and Sonic the Hedgehog, with one person's family having manju sweets for Christmas, while another wishes for a Doraemon Santa. There are also mentions of Single Bell and what sounds like a reference to Road Rash on Mega Drive for comparison. The page concludes with character profiles for the Uzumaki siblings and their cat, outlining their personalities and their roles in different magazine corners. The next page has a section called Uzuki Maki that discusses network functionality on the Dreamcast, featuring reader questions. One question asks about cross-console communication between Dreamcast and PlayStation, pondering if modems on both consoles could allow for interaction and synergy between manufacturers. Another question is about user-developed games and how Dreamcast could facilitate complete user participation development games from start to finish. The page also includes a Congratulations Dori Kia SGET section with reader messages. One reader mentions getting a Dreamcast for 40,005 yen, which included Virtua Fighter 3 Team Battle and a visual memory unit. Another reader excitedly shares that they got a special Dreamcast model with their name engraved on it. Finally, there's an illustration garden section that features fan art submissions based on the themes Psychic World Evolution and Combat Turb. Illustrations include cow characters from Sonic Adventure in various emotional states and poses, artwork of Dr. Eggman, a screenshot from Sonic Adventure showcasing Sonic and Eggman, a drawing of Knuckles, and an image of Amy Rose in a style reminiscent of the Tom and Jerry cartoons. This page features a reader submission section called Chew, where readers express their excitement for the Dreamcast, mentioning how happy they are to get the console and accessories like controllers and VMUs. One reader mentions pre-ordering the limited edition and the difficulty in obtaining extra accessories and games. Another reader talks about seeing the Dreamcast commercials on TV. There's a girls' gossip corner, where a reader asks about being older but still enjoying games, and if they can still send in fan mail, to which the magazine responds, "Age is not a barrier," and encourages fan mail. Another reader discusses seeing commercials for Yusen and Yagisawa, finding Yagisawa cool but feeling sorry for Yusen. They mention girls asking for Yusen version, and the popularity of Yusen amongst high school girls. The page also highlights Atlas is coming with the game Majinkan X, announcing its arrival and mentioning the character design turning 3D and the impressive visual style. The Sonic Adventure section showcases the game with screenshots and commentary, praising the visual style of the Western-style Sonic and the detailed environments. It mentions the impressive sound and the slogan, "Run, Sonic, run!" It's described as the culmination of the Sonic family. There are also artist submissions featured, including artwork of Sonic and characters from Majinkan X. This page is a collection of reader submissions focusing on Sega Saturn and Dreamcast. The Forest of Saturn People section contains letters from players discussing their experiences with the Saturn, mentioning games like Winter Heat and the Japanese-only title Shinrei Jusatsushi Taromaru. Readers also talk about their Saturn consoles and even basic programming on the system. The Too Much Material section showcases more user-generated content, with jokes and fan art submissions. Notably, there's a section highlighting Yu Suzuki's latest work, which is Shenmue, and mentions its working title, Project Berkeley. There are sections titled, "Well, Let's Have a Dialogue," and a humorous segment called Conclusion, All Guilty. Finally, the Destination and Prize section provides guidelines for readers to submit their own content and details about prizes being offered, including Dreamcast software. The game Blue Stinger is highlighted. The section also lists prize winners, including Ann Matsumoto and others who received game goods. This page is a winner's announcement for the Dreamcast Magazine Volume 4 prize draw. A large number of applicants entered to win various Dreamcast-related prizes. The prizes include Dreamcast-branded items like clear files, trainers, phone cards, savings boxes, calculators, mugs, mousepads, and mobile straps. Game software was also offered as prizes such as Summer Waltz, a real Mahjong adventure game, Pocket Este Walk, Capcom Generation Volume 4 Solitary Hero, Beatmania 3rd Mix Complete, and a Beatmania Special Sampler CD set. Prizes also featured popular personalities like Mariko Kuda, with a poster and phone card set. The page lists the winners for each prize category along with their prefecture. This page is about smart drugs referred to as Smodora, which are described as items to unlock human potential and enhance brain functions, such as memory, concentration, and reaction speeds, by targeting the nervous system. It lists several types of these smart drugs, with descriptions of their purported effects, including piracetam for memory, hydrogene for brain function, vinpocetine for brain energy, vasopressin for focus, oxiracetam for improved brain power and mood, choline for memory and learning, Inderal to reduce anxiety, and primiracetam as a powerful brain enhancer. This page discusses smart drugs or nootropics for gamers, recommending different supplements based on game genres. For fighting games, the recommended combination is vinpocetine and piracetam. For RPG games, it suggests piracetam, with Hiddleton as needed. For action games, piracetam or Hiddleton as options. For puzzle games, Inderal and oxiracetam are suggested. The article includes testimonials from gamers who have used these substances. Quote, a 20-year-old vocational school student mentions using vinpocetine for fighting games to improve reaction time and visual acuity, leading to better performance. A 19-year-old preparatory school student talks about using piracetam and vinpocetine for shooting games, enhancing concentration and allowing them to perceive enemy bullets more clearly. The article explains that these smart drugs are unapproved in Japan and are obtained through personal import. It advises caution, research into side effects and dosages, and warns against sharing or selling these substances. It also mentions a book called Smart Drug Lifestyle Introduction by MediaWorks, which provides information on 36 types of smart drugs, personal import methods, and overseas smart drug companies. This page is the 7th installment of the Samushing Yoshimatsu Theater comic strip, entitled Idol Legend Talk Kineko. It's a humorous manga strip that seems to playfully compare gaming experiences, particularly referencing the Nintendo 64 and Dreamcast. The comic features cartoon characters acting out exaggerated gaming scenarios, likely focusing on the perspectives of game developers and fans. Phrases like living hell and favorite words are used for comedic effect, suggesting an over-the-top and funny take on the intense reactions and language often associated with video gaming. It appears to be a lighthearted and comedic commentary on the gaming world at the time. This B1 advertisement promotes a wide selection of games for various consoles, with a strong focus on Sega, particularly Dreamcast and Saturn, under the Sega Thrilling Fast Attack banner. Dreamcast is prominently featured with a price of 29,800 yen. Key Saturn titles include Virtua Fighter 3 TB and Sonic Adventure, plus upcoming games. Dreamcast also boasts titles like Virtua Fighter 3 TB, Pen Pen Triathlon, and Blue Stinger. PlayStation and Nintendo 64 new releases are listed, featuring games like R4, Ridge Racer Type 4, and Banjo-Kazooie, respectively. Nintendo 64 highlights also include Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and Hey You Pikachu, with prices. Game Boy games such as Pokemon Card GB and Zelda, Link's Awakening DX are also advertised. The ad mentions a Kid Product premium gift and Sega Saturn items like Sakura Wars. Store and mail order details are at the bottom. This page is a manga column titled Bi-weekly column Iroiro Desu. The column is by Takemoto Izumi. The section is titled Number 2, A Day of the Dreamcast Launch, Front and Back. The comic strip is about the author's experience with the Dreamcast launch. The character resembling Link is dressed as Zelda and is referred to as Zelda Bomb. The other character seems to be asking what the Zelda costume is. The character dressed as Zelda replies something about shiny new goods and force. There are speech bubbles discussing the Dreamcast launch, mentioning it was sold out on launch day and people couldn't buy it. The character mentions wanting to buy the console and software. Another panel shows the author going to a toy store to look for Dreamcast software. They are happy to find the console and software in stock at a later date. The comic also mentions the Dreamcast controller, and that it is comfortable to hold. The cat character asks if the Dreamcast is fun, and the reply is, yes, it is fun. The author mentions playing it for about an hour each day. The bottom text includes the author's name, address for fan letters, and mentions Dreamcast Magazine and SoftBank. It also mentions, manga is good. Today's work is about 25 sheets roughly. This page features an interview with Hiroshi Hayama, a musician known for his work in the game industry. He reflects on his music and his approach to game music creation, explaining that his inspiration comes from within himself. He mentions that his career took off 6 years prior with the hit game CD Cho Aniki and his subsequent albums. He touches upon his views on music education and the influence of his mentor. Looking back at 1998, he sees it as a year of planting seeds, with hopes for future growth in 1999. The page also includes information on his website and albums such as Cho Aniki, Super Ultra Brother, Sister, and Game Music is Dead. It notes that Hiroshi Hayama considers himself a musician with a wild, wrestler-like personality. This page is a column titled Black Ore, written by Fumio Kurokawa. The article discusses the lines of people waiting to purchase the Dreamcast on launch day in Akihabara, comparing it to the long queues often seen at the popular Kyushu Jangara Ramen restaurant. It highlights the Dreamcast launch day on November 27th as a huge event. The article mentions initial sales figures estimating 700,000 units sold at launch and projections of reaching 3 million by year's end. The software lineup is mentioned, specifically Virtua Fighter 3 TB. The article also notes that the Dreamcast debuted on the Oricon charts at number 50, boosted by the popular President Yukawa commercials. It touches upon the roles and responsibilities of Yasushi Akimoto and President Yukawa in the Dreamcast launch and marketing. Lastly, it includes a profile of Fumio Kurokawa, the author, detailing his background in music and film, his involvement with Sega AM2 and Virtua Fighter 2 promotions, and his current role as a software promotions producer at Marvelous. This page is an advertisement for the Puyo Puyo and Madu Monogatari card collection. It mentions this trading card set, based on the popular Puyo Puyo and Madu Monogatari games, was released on July 23. The advert details the types of cards available, such as character cards, event cards, large chain cards, illustration cards, and special cards. It also lists the price as 300 yen for a pack of 10 cards and 4,500 yen for a box containing 15 packs. This page is an advertisement for a perfect reference strategy guidebook for Super Robot Wars F and Super Robot Wars F Final Edition. The book promises to contain everything about both games in one volume. It features complete pilot and unit data, event flowcharts, spirit command lists, and 100% coverage of pilot and unit illustrations. It is priced at 2,300 yen, is B5 size, and has 440 pages. The text emphasizes that this book is a definitive guide covering all units and pilots, including hidden elements, and original content exclusive to the book, making it indispensable for fans of both games. This page showcases two publications. The top section highlights Cat Shit 1 Volume 1, a manga collection based on the popular Rabbit and Cat Vietnam War series from Monthly Combat Magazine. It's described as a funny and surreal war story by a leading modern war comic artist, featuring the adventures of Packy and including the legendary Dog Shit No. 1. The base price is 950 yen. Below, the page introduces Weeb Comics Volume 1, a digital comic anthology of CG artwork by top artists. This collection includes works from Kiya Asamiya, Yoshiki Takaya, Kamui Fujiwara, Shunji Suzuki, Koyama Kifuo, Genbun Kobayashi, Miruku Morizono, and Tsukuo Okazaki. It's presented as the first time these internet-exclusive digital comics are available in print, with a base price of 1,200 yen. This Dreamcast Magazine page presents a reader survey. It instructs readers to complete it with a black pen or pencil, write clearly, and mail it back after cutting along dotted lines. The survey collects demographic data, gender, age, occupation, and magazine readership habits. It seeks feedback on the current issue's cover and desired article content, including preferences for article types like cheat codes and hardware guides. Readers are asked to list their top 3 articles and current/planned hardware ownership from provided lists of consoles and handhelds. Finally, the survey gauges interest in specific Dreamcast and Saturn software titles, presenting lists of games for each platform. The page also includes extended lists of hardware accessories and software titles for both Dreamcast and Saturn for reference in the survey. This page is an advertisement for a Sakura Wars musical stage show photo book. It's titled Sakura Wars Song and Dance Show, Chapter 2, Flower Troop Special Performance, Tsubasa Production Photo Diary, Provisional. It highlights photos from Hiroyoji's stage performance. The advert states it is expected to be released in late December and will be 128 pages, priced at 2,500 yen, excluding tax, and B5 size format. It also mentions other Sakura Wars related books which are currently available. These include Sega Official Book Series, Sakura Wars 2, Original Art and Setting Material Collection. This, a 4-sized book, is 160 pages and costs 2,000 yen. It is advertised as highly acclaimed and on sale now. Sakura Wars OVA Fan Book Less Than Part 1, Cherry Blossom Gorgeous Chapter Greater Than. This B5-sized book is 96 pages and costs 1,800 yen. It is also advertised as highly acclaimed and on sale now. Sakura Wars OVA Fan Book Less Than Part 2, Cherry Blossom Gorgeous Chapter Greater Than. This B5-sized book is 96 pages and costs 1,800 yen. It is stated to be released in late December. The bottom section provides copyright information for Sega Enterprises Limited, Bandai Visual, and Animate Film from 1997. It also lists SoftBank as the publisher and provides an address and website. This page is an advertisement for the game Taigeki Graph in Sakura Wars. The artwork showcases the main characters enjoying a meal together around a table. The advert includes screenshots that appear to be from the game, displaying in-game scenes. It notes a release date of December 23, 1998, and a price of 4,800 yen for a CD-ROM2 disc set. This title was not released outside of Japan. This page is advertising the Taigeki Graph December issue, which is a limited edition featuring a special on Sakura Wars. It highlights a winter special public performance called Sleeping Forest Beauty. The magazine issue includes a luxury interview collection, a gorgeous photo collection, setting word collection, Imperial Assault Force chess, Emperor Graph edition, and a 200-question Emperor quiz. The magazine cover illustration is by Hidenori Matsubara, and the issue features setting secrets and a Taisho 14th year special feature. It also promotes the Taigeki Graph as the magazine to read for Sakura Wars content, including information on the Flower Troop and Star Troop. This page is dedicated to Sega Rally Championship 2, highlighting the new Snowy S1 course. The course, with a length of 20.8 kilometers and undulation of 12 meters, is described as having significant road surface changes, transitioning from ice burn to snow road and forest areas, making tire selection crucial. Despite being the easiest of the snowy courses, it's presented as ideal for mastering car control on snow. The article mentions the game is a race game scheduled for release on January 14, 1999, priced at 5,800 yen, and supports head-to-head and communication play, along with racing controllers. Screenshots showcase the snowy environment, continuous curves, and nighttime racing conditions, emphasizing the challenges of visibility and slippery surfaces. The page also introduces Snowy SS2 and notes both new snowy courses are playable in the 10-year championship mode. This page is a preview for a new course in Sega Rally 2 called Snowy SS2. This new course is described as a challenging stage set in a forest with tight corners and varying elevation, making machine control difficult due to slippery roads and icy patches. The tire choice is emphasized as being even more critical than in other courses. The article highlights new effects added to the game, including nighttime effects where headlights illuminate the surroundings, and tire marks and skid smoke effects. It also mentions new icons are being introduced, like slippery road warnings, suggesting that water puddles and bridges will now be visually represented by icons. The article also mentions that the car setup options allow players to choose the co-driver's voice, male or female, and new voice prompts related to these new icons will be added. The page concludes by expressing anticipation for further new icons to be revealed. This page introduces Tetris 4D for the Dreamcast, calling it the king of puzzle games, and mentioning it is a title everyone knows. It highlights the game's 10-year history and describes it as basic of basics. The page showcases the classic mode, which is a single-player mode with adjustable difficulty levels from beginner to expert, catering to all skill levels. The article points out the beautiful backgrounds in the Dreamcast version and mentions that it supports up to 4 players. The game is set to release on December 23rd and will cost 4,800 yen. The page emphasizes that even beginners can enjoy Tetris, and that the Dreamcast version includes helpful guide displays. This page introduces the battle mode for a puzzle game on Dreamcast, emphasizing the fun of multiplayer battles for up to 4 players. It explains the core concept of attack and defense, where players are randomly assigned roles as either attacker or receiver. Attackers clear blocks to send garbage blocks to opponents, while receivers clear blocks to defend and counterattack. The page details variations for 2, 3, and 4-player battles, highlighting the strategic push and pull in 2-player matches and the increasing chaos in larger groups. A new rule set is presented, where the receiver must clear a specific number of lines indicated by red lines at the top of their playfield to switch roles and become the attacker. This adds a new dynamic to the gameplay. The page also shows how players can adjust the difficulty using level change to create handicap matches, offering beginner, easy, normal, hard, and expert levels. Screenshots illustrate gameplay in these various battle modes and difficulty settings. This page introduces My Trackman, a Dreamcast game that uses the Dreamcast's communication functions to provide central horse racing information online. It describes it as a digital horse racing newspaper that is now a reality on the Dreamcast. Feature 1 highlights timely digital horse racing news, explaining that users can access up-to-date information, such as racehorse entries, race results, and time data for all central races. It also mentions predictions from various newspapers and specialist paper information from the Kanto Horse Racing News Association. Downloading data takes about 1 minute and can be done from the day before the race. Feature 2 is Horse Racing Complete Data File, noting that the game acts as a database for horse racing information, allowing users to easily search for data on jockeys, trainers, and race results. Feature 3 is Simulated Race, explaining that the game allows users to simulate races in 3D based on various parameters, such as horse condition and distance aptitude. This simulation allows for repeated trials and can be used as a simple prediction tool. The page emphasizes the convenience and cost-effectiveness of accessing horse racing information through the Dreamcast compared to traditional media. It also includes comments from the developer expressing their passion for horse racing data and their aim to create a convenient and user-friendly system. The screenshots show game interfaces, race simulations, and data tables. This page is a Dreamcast Soft Complete Guide, highlighting incoming Human Final Battle as a featured game, promising a thorough strategy guide to conquer its challenging Scenario 3, described as super difficult shooting. The page features screenshots showing spaceship combat, explosions, and in-game action, advertising a complete walkthrough for the game. This page is a strategy guide for Scenario 3 of the Dreamcast game, Incoming Humanity Last Battle. The scenario takes place in the ocean around oil production facilities. The guide provides tips on effectively using weapons in this scenario. It emphasizes using auxiliary weapons as the main strategy, particularly cannons, which are effective in Scenario 3 and can continuously fire guided missiles. For fighter helicopters, the guide suggests utilizing them strategically in Scenario 3 as they are crucial in important combat situations, but players need to be mindful of their altitude to avoid destroying facilities with their own attacks. The guide also provides points or tips for different phases. For phases 1, 5, and 7, it recommends using cannons and focusing on firing guided missiles, highlighting their tracking capabilities. For phases 2, 4, and 9, it discusses combat helicopters, emphasizing the importance of altitude control to avoid friendly fire. For phases 3 and 8, it focuses on fighter aircraft, suggesting players need to achieve quick turns to avoid enemy fighters from getting behind them, and to utilize radar effectively. For phases 6 and 10, it gives advice on using auxiliary weapons, noting that phase 6 is challenging due to natural obstacles like ice mountains, and phase 10 features battles against large combined motherships. The guide stresses the importance of skillfully using both main and auxiliary weapons to secure victory. This strategy guide outlines the first 3 phases of a Dreamcast game. Likely incoming. UK Fury, focusing on facility defense. Phase 1, 1 star. Uses a battleship turret and unlimited missiles to defend an oil refinery. Players should just keep shooting and prioritize medium bombers for high scores. Phase 2, 2 stars. Equips a Comanche helicopter with 20 missiles to defend Oil Field A from flank attacks. Quick responses and focusing on one flank at a time are crucial, especially against sea skimmers attacking from the rear. Phase 3, 3 stars. Is the most challenging, using a Harrier jet with 20 missiles to defend a tanker and oil refinery against attacks from all directions. Speed and efficiency are key. Medium bombers target Oil Field B, and light fighters are a cautionary enemy, best handled with main weapons, reserving missiles for when they approach facilities. This strategy guide covers phases 4 to 7 of a shooting game. Phase 4, Sea Skimmers Attack from the Front, 2 stars. Is a fleet defense mission against underwater sea skimmers. Use the Cobra with guided missiles, radar to locate enemies, and patience to attack when they surface, keeping 10 missiles in reserve. Phase 5. Hit and Run, 1 star, is an oil field attack defense mission using a gunboat with guided missiles. Air. Intercept enemy aircraft attacking the oil field. Avoid damaging missile facilities. Prioritize aircraft squadrons and leader units. Phase 6. Ice Mountain Blocks the Way, 3 stars, is a facility defense against the Ice Mountain, using an A-10 with laser 20. Engage at close range, use support then main weapons, avoid contact, and prioritize destroying the Ice Mountain. Phase 7, Enemy Squadrons Assemble, 2 stars, is an aircraft attack mission where you intercept enemy squadrons approaching the battleship using a fixed cannon with unlimited guided missiles, similar to Phase 1. Prioritize leader units. The guide also highlights strategies against sea skimmers and Ice Mountain, and includes a Phase 6 battle map. This page is a strategy guide for the Dreamcast game Gigawing. It provides tips for phases 8, 9, and 10 of the game. Phase 8, with a 2-star difficulty, tasks players with escorting a luxury liner using the Harrier attack aircraft and guided missiles. The key is to minimize damage and watch out for interceptor bombers, using auxiliary weapons to deal with them and attacking quickly. Phase 9, at 3-star difficulty, requires the Cobra attack helicopter and satellite lasers to destroy enemy bases. Players must eliminate 5 bases while dealing with numerous light fighters. Speed and focusing on base destruction are crucial, and it's advised to avoid getting close to large battleships. Phase 10 is the final encounter, a 2-star difficulty mission against a gigantic mothership using the alien light fighter and lasers. The guide warns of the mothership's overwhelming attack power and emphasizes destroying surrounding enemies first before engaging the mothership. The strategy is to attack with lasers from a distance and evade when the mothership prepares to attack. The page advises to prepare for even fiercer battles ahead after defeating the mothership. This page is all about the Sega Mega Drive game Rent-A-Hero and fans clamoring for a Dreamcast sequel titled Rent-A-Hero Returns. It seems this is an unofficial fan page in Dreamcast Magazine looking at reader feedback and support for a new game. There's a Megamix corner referencing Fighters Megamix, suggesting Rent-A-Hero's connection to that game. A flashback Mega Drive section talks about the original Rent-A-Hero as an action RPG developed by Sega AM2, mentioning its release date in September 1991 and its appearance in Fighters Megamix as a hidden character. Reader submissions include fan art and pixel art designed for the Dreamcast visual memory. There's a ranking chart showing Transplant Wish ranking, with Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest series at the top, and Rent-A-Hero climbing to 3rd place. The text discusses whether Rent-A-Hero can reach number 1, potentially surpassing Sakura, likely referring to the Sakura Wars series. Finally, there's a Gather Rent-A-Hero Lovers section, a call to action for fans to support the Dreamcast sequel, and a list of reader names who are presumably Rent-A-Hero fans. This page discusses the impact of 3D CG animation on anime, referencing works from Toy Story to Blue Submarine No. 6 and up to Final Fantasy, the movie. It explains how computer graphics in animation, being adopted for about a decade, has revolutionized visual expression. The text points out that 3D CG animation's influence extends beyond anime and games to movies, commercials, and TV shows. Creators such as Katsuhiro Otomo and Hiroyuki Kitakubo are also alluded to, and Final Fantasy the movie is presented as a highly anticipated 3D CG-focused project. The copyright is noted as 1998, and credits are given to Ko Sawato, Bandai Visual, Toho EMI, and Gyo Nzo. This page is an encyclopedia of 3D CG animation movies, showcasing a variety of films categorized by their origin in America or Japan, and the animation techniques employed. It spans from early examples like King Kong from 1933 to upcoming productions like Final Fantasy. Each movie entry provides the title, release year, and a brief description highlighting the use of 3D CG in the film. American movies listed include classics like Jurassic Park, Toy Story, and Titanic, alongside Godzilla, Starship Troopers, A Bug's Life, and Prince of Egypt. The descriptions detail how 3D CG was used for special effects, such as dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, character animation in Toy Story, the shipwreck in Titanic, and large-scale scenes in Godzilla and Starship Troopers. Japanese movies featured range from early adopters like Golgo 13 to anime masterpieces such as Ghost in the Shell and Princess Mononoke. The Gamera series, Blue Submarine No. 6, and Resident Evil are also highlighted. The text notes the increasing sophistication of 3D CG in Japanese animation, contributing to the upgraded visual quality of titles like Ghost in the Shell, and its use in depicting creatures and environments in Gamera and Princess Mononoke. The page also includes screenshots from some of the movies. The text at the bottom provides a historical overview of 3D CG animation, tracing its roots back to the 1960s and its evolution into mainstream cinema. It mentions influential filmmakers and the increasing accessibility of digital animation tools, while emphasizing that strong animation skills remain essential, even with advanced technology. This text explores the evolution of 3D in video games, marking the Dreamcast era as the beginning of true 3D gaming on home consoles. It categorizes early 3D expressions, using examples like Wizardry with its spatial environments, and Xevious with layered depth. Evolving 3D expression is illustrated through games like SimCity 2000, fixed 3D perspective, Landstalker, quarter view pseudo 3D, and Nights into Dreams, free flight in limited 3D. Sonic Adventure is presented as a prime example of true 3D gaming, allowing free character and dynamic camera movement in a complete 3D space. The text differentiates between games visually appearing 3D and those creating genuine 3D worlds. It defines true 3D as involving player viewpoint movement within a 3D world, enabled by camera control and depth perception. The author concludes by acknowledging the efforts of creators in pushing for true 3D gaming experiences. This page showcases 3D CG animation and highlights several titles. It introduces Blue Submarine No 6 Inches as an original full digital animation, emphasizing its use of 3D CG for realistic metal and water effects and 2D CG for detailed character expressions, noting it as an OVA. The article describes scenes from the anime, like the submarine surfacing and underwater battles, praising its immersive 3D CG visuals and Dolby Digital sound for a realistic experience. It mentions the original work is Submarine 707 Inches by Satoru Ozawa, set in a future where Earth is mostly underwater. The page also features Beast Wars Transformers, described as a theatrical 3D CG animation, expanding on the TV series CG graphics. It announces its theatrical release in Toei-affiliated cinemas from December 19th, with a special Beast Warrior Metal Badge gift for attendees. Finally, Toy Story is mentioned as Disney and Pixar's full 3D CG animation, admired for its realistic movements and detailed animation brought to life by 60 animators, highlighting it as the pinnacle of CG animation from Disney. This showcase highlights diverse applications of CGI in movies and anime. Classic anime like Gundam integrated 3D CG, while Memories used it for grand spaceship scenes. Gamera 3 established CG for realistic creature movement, particularly flight. Princess Mononoke pioneered CG in anime while retaining a 2D aesthetic. Visitor was Japan's first full 3D CG figure animation focusing on human emotion. Babe achieved hyper-realistic talking pigs through CG. Toy Story revolutionized animation, showcasing CG's expressive potential for toys and reviving doll animation. Initial D utilized 3D CG for dynamic, realistic race scenes. Chinese Ghost Story explored CG's emotional depth, animating ghostly movements and light. Starship Troopers employed unsettling CG for disturbing insect-like aliens, enhancing horror. Katsuhiro Otomo's works GRM and the steampunk-themed Steam Boy further demonstrate the evolution of digital techniques and 3D CG. This page explores the views of game industry insiders on 3D CG animation, especially concerning the upcoming Final Fantasy, the movie. Game developers and creators share their perspectives on how 3D CG is becoming a vital element in game development, particularly for adventure and RPG genres. Interviewees mention titles that have impressed them with their use of CG. Games like Cowboy Bebop, Astronauta, and Pinka are praised for their art style and CG integration. Blues Stinger is noted for its visual quality, and the Sonic series, Nights, is mentioned for the creator's vision in using 3D CG. Other titles like Mysteria, The Realms of Lore, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and Panzer Dragoon Saga, Azel, are highlighted for their impressive CG and visual styles. Movies like Tron, Jurassic Park, Forrest Gump, Star Wars, A New Hope, Princess Mononoke, Mask, Toy Story, and Truman Show are also cited as inspirations or examples of excellent CG use. The general consensus is that 3D CG is a powerful tool for creating immersive and emotionally engaging experiences, blurring the lines between games and movies. The interviewees express excitement about the potential of 3D CG and its future impact on entertainment. Games like Galaga, Rhapsody, A Musical Adventure, Tekken, Virtual Fighter, Paradia, Body Hazard, Poppin' Tanks, Almagest, Gun Parade March, Seventh Cross Evolution, My Goddess, the movie, and Mobile Suit Gundam, the 06 THMS Team Miller's Report, are mentioned as examples that showcase different aspects of 3D CG's capabilities and impact in games and animation. This page is an interview with Tanaka Hideyuki, a CG creator who worked on the TV shows Ugo Ugo Luga and Satsuma. The interview highlights how 3D CG animation is becoming accessible for individuals to create. Tanaka explains his early experiences using Amiga computers for CG and his work on Ugo Ugo Luga, a children's show featuring live-action kids and CG characters like Puki Mikawai. He also mentions Satsuma and Happy Birthday as other shows he contributed to. Tanaka emphasizes that with advancements in technology, interesting and cheap 3D CG creations can be made even by small teams, contrasting this with the large resources needed for Disney-style CG. He believes the future lies in individuals and small groups creating compelling 3D CG content, and his work aims to explore this possibility. The page also features screenshots from Satsuma and Happy Birthday and briefly touches upon a character from the PlayStation dance game Bust a Groove, Bust a Move in Japan, as an example of CG character design. Tanaka also mentions working on promotional videos and fashion brand designs, showcasing his diverse range of CG work. The next page showcases Urawaza Shopping, which is all about hidden game techniques and cheats. For Virtua Fighter 3TB, there are two techniques featured. The first, an Anju Beyond Anju, is a technique for the COD stage. If you use a heavy character and wait for about 10 seconds, you can make your opponent fall off the edge, creating a large height difference. The second technique is for Training Mode Level Auto. By selecting Training Mode while holding the X button, the comm level will automatically increase as you continuously give damage without taking any hits. For Godzilla Generations, the page highlights a technique to view all monster actions. By holding down the L and R buttons and pressing the A button in the Kaiju list, you can see all the monster animations, including victory and defeat poses. Finally, for Wizardry Lilgamen Saga, there is a technique for effectively using character transfers. The advice is to create characters in Scenario 3, which is easier for character creation, then transfer them to Scenario 1 to level them up and make Scenario 3 even easier later. At the bottom, there's a call for readers to submit their own hidden techniques for Dreamcast and Sega Saturn games. This page is the contents page for Saturn Magazine, dated January 1st, 1999. It lists sections including the Sega Saturn Data Station, Reader's Race, and Software Review. Upcoming games featured are Sakura Wars 2, Sonic 3D Blast, and Japanese titles Girl Doll Toy, 6-Inch My Darling, and Yoshimoto Mahjong Club. New releases include Friends, Youth's Radiance, and QQ Sentai Go-Go 5, Ensemble 2. The complete guide section covers Snow in the Glass Color, Street Fighter Alpha 2, Kyoto Journal, and Returned Falcom Magazine. The page features anime-style art with 4 girls amongst flowers. This page is a Shop Data Top 10 for Sega Saturn software sales. At number 1 is Black Matrix, Reprint Edition, a simulation RPG by NEC Interchannels. Second place is Capcom Generation Volume 5, Fighters, a collection of Capcom fighting games. Find Love 2, Rhapsody Takes Third, a romance simulation game. The chart continues with Idol Janshi Suchi Pai, 2I Mahjong Maniacs, Winning Post 3 Program 98, Continued First Love Story School Trip, She's, Season, Sankyo Fever Jiki Simulation S, Volume 3, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, and Wizardry Lilgamen Saga, completing the top 10. Below the chart is a release schedule, highlighting games like 6 My Darling, Girl Doll Toy, Langrisser Tribute, Sakura Wars Taigeki Graph, Toryu Densetsu, Elan Dori, and Roommate W Futari, due for release in December and January. Also listed are upcoming titles such as Project Pro Mahjong Armor, Friends Youth, Spring Breeze, Kiss More, tentative title, Millennium Familia, DEVICEREIGN, Dungeons & Dragons Collection, Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series, Sonic 3D Flicky's Island, Derby Stallion, Monster Maker, and Monica no Shiro. Real Sound 2 Sound of the Wind, and Synchronicity are also mentioned as upcoming titles. The next page showcases the top 20 USer data for anticipated new Sega Saturn software. Sonic 3D Flicky's Island is in the top spot as a new entry with 307 points and 99% development progress. Sakura Wars is in second place with 261 points and is at 100% development completion. Kiss Yori K, which may be tentatively titled Kiss From, is in 11th place with 92 points and 30% development progress. The page highlights that Sonic 3D Flicky's Island has suddenly been announced with a release date and has become very popular. It mentions that Sakura Wars is finally nearing release, and its popularity remains high. Below the rankings, there's a table listing upcoming games with release dates, titles, prices, makers, genres, and compatibility information. Some of the games listed include The Ruins, likely The Ruins of the Lost Kingdom, J-League Excitate Stage 5-1, Worms Woes, Unknown Human Tales Extra Edition, Professor Takaya's Great Adventure, tentative title, Contra Legacy of War, Advances VG2, Ray Earth IEM, US Drag Champ, tentative title, Super 301 Square, tentative title, Kamogata Great Battle, Whispers of the Goddesses, Baggeiner Those Who Revive from the Depths Chapter Then to Tomorrow, Control High School Countdown, and Starting Odyssey 1 Blue. This page is a reader popularity poll for Sega Saturn games from a Sega Saturn magazine. It lists a ranking of games voted for by readers. The top-ranked game at number 1 is Sakura Taisen 2, Thou Shalt Not Die. Other highly ranked games include Pia Carrot Iukoso 2, Grandia, Dragon Force, and Langrisser V, The End of Legend. The list spans a wide variety of genres, including RPGs, strategy games, adventure games, and action titles. The page mentions that this is a snapshot of the rankings at a specific time, December 18th, and that the total number of Saturn games released at that point was 1125. The text also explains that the ranking is based on reader votes, and that the average score is out of 10. This page features game reviews and rankings. At the top of the page we see a review for Idol Janshi Suchipai, an adventure game with mahjong elements, noted as the culmination of the series. It is highlighted for Jaleco's unique style and dialogues, and it is mentioned that it was released on the Saturn's last day. Next, Wizardry Labyrinth of Lost Souls Saga is reviewed, praised for retaining the essence of classic wizardry games, with user-friendly features like auto-mapping and auto-save, while still offering depth for hardcore players through item collection and bonus dungeons. Finally, Find Love 2 Rhapsody is reviewed as a love simulation game that blends puzzle elements with adventure and is noted for its unique atmosphere, large amount of text, and adult content. On the right side of the page is a ranking table titled Odds Table Saturn B, listing various Sega Saturn games and their scores from reader reviews. This page lists the Sega Saturn Odds Ranking Saturn C, showcasing a chart of game rankings with columns for rank, previous rank, game title, genre, and average review score. It's a comprehensive list of Saturn games, presenting them with their respective genres like SLG, Simulation, RAC, Racing, ADV, Adventure, ACT, Action, RPG, Role-Playing Game, SPT, Sports, and etc., etc. The chart provides a snapshot of game popularity or performance at the time, indicated by the odds ranking title. Satamaga, volume 59 inches, features a review of Sega Saturn's Radiant Silvergun, highlighting its unique gameplay focus on terrain navigation in addition to shooting, creating a sense of freedom. The review praises the high-quality opening and ending movies, crafted by Gonzio and Hiroki Maino, and the magnificent music by Hiroshi Takimoto of Ogre Battle fame. Reader comments enthusiastically deem Radiant Silvergun a Saturn masterpiece worthy of a top 10 spot, recommending it to shooter and action fans alike for its high level of polish. Developer Treasure, Maikawa, expressed confidence in the game despite feedback on the movies. The page also includes a Saturn D odds table, a reader-voted weekly ranking chart of numerous Saturn games across genres, showcasing popular titles like Mario Artist Polygon Studio and Super Tempo. This page is a magazine page focused on Sega Saturn and Dreamcast games and peripherals, featuring reviews, reader opinions, and contests. At the top left, there is a game review for Capcom Generation 5 Collection, a compilation of classic Capcom arcade games. The review notes the game's loading times and VS mode, giving it a score of 7.66. Next to it, reader comments discuss the Sega Saturn's future and the software available for it. To the right of this is a ranking table listing Sega Saturn peripherals and their average scores, mentioning items such as the Virtua Stick Pro and Sega Saturn keyboard. Moving down, there is a review for Winning Post 3 Program 98, a horse racing simulation game, which scores 7.33. The review highlights the game's editing capabilities and goal-setting aspects. Below that, Polyland is reviewed, a strategy game, receiving a score of 5.66. The review mentions its enjoyable gameplay, despite potential slowdown issues. On the right side of the page, a reader race contest is detailed, asking readers to predict the ranking of 7th Cross Evolution. Another contest, odds prediction game Double Chance, is introduced, focusing on predicting the odds for Sonic Adventure. At the bottom, DC joystick and visual memory are mentioned as prizes for contest winners, highlighting the new generation of consoles and accessories. Finally, there's a review for Sankyo Fever Simulation S Volume 3, a pachinko simulation game, scoring 5.33. The review suggests it's more for collection purposes than serious simulation gameplay. This page is an advertisement for the official strategy guide for the Sega Saturn game, Real Mahjong Adventure C Summer Waltz. The guide is marketed as the complete to getting all 7 girls in the Real Mahjong Adventure game, and promises to help players get all the girls. Marriage. It boasts strategy charts for each of the 7 female characters, reveals how to achieve both the normal and best endings, and includes information on hidden events to aid in a complete playthrough. The guidebook, priced at 1,400 yen, is 112 pages long and in A5 size. The next page showcases Taigeki Graph in Sakura Wars for the Sega Saturn, declared as the #1 most anticipated Saturn software. It's highlighted as 100% complete and releasing very soon, in about 5 days, as a 2-disc digital fan disc. This issue reveals a scoop about the Taigeki Quiz 200 questions mode within the game, emphasizing that even more hidden elements are present. The page details this quiz mode featuring 200 questions, ranging from beginner-friendly to very challenging for hardcore fans. Another key feature discussed is the Taigeki Soldier General Chess Game, a simulation mode where you command soldiers against the Black Demon Society. It elaborates on the strategic gameplay, involving selecting battle tactics from wind, forest, fire, and mountain, and managing combat deployment to defeat enemies and ultimately target the leader. The spy intrusion tactic is also mentioned as a way to infiltrate and disrupt enemy lines. The page suggests that players should study the in-game glossary to excel in the quiz, and hints that unexpected trivia beyond the usual game knowledge might appear. It also mentions that the Sakura Wars 1 Setting Material Collection booklet includes a glossary, which could be useful. This page is a game preview for the Sega Saturn title, Special Performance Sleeping Forest Beauty. It highlights that preparations are underway for this special performance. The game is set to be a musical adventure, and the article details several minigame aspects. One minigame involves dress selection, where you have to choose outfits for characters like Sakura, Sulamire, and Iris, aiming for speed to gain bonus points. Another minigame is piano playing, described as a rhythm-based game where timing is crucial. The story revolves around a performance of Sleeping Beauty, and the narrative includes a witch's curse on a princess. The screenshots showcase gameplay elements like dialogue scenes, minigame interfaces, and character interactions. Character profiles are featured for Shinoguchi Rei, described as Sakura's grandmother and head of the Shinoguchi family, and Iwai Kentaro, a servant of the Shinoguchi family who understands Rei's words. The article suggests these characters will play a role in the game's narrative. It emphasizes that the game contains valuable pre-production age and behind-the-scenes looks at the Sakura Wars series. This page from the Emperor Journal's 6th issue is a fan art showcase titled Dokatsu and 2P Multi-Character Special Feature. It highlights reader-submitted illustrations, and it's clear Sakura Wars 2 Thou Shalt Not Die is the main focus here. The page features several fan artworks from different prefectures. From Fukuoka Prefecture, the Flower Bloom Sisters contributed 2 pieces, one showing a group of Sakura Wars characters, including Sakura Shinguji, and another emphasizing individual character expressions. Hokkaido's Uryu Yuto submitted a Christmas-themed artwork, while Fukuoka's Reina also drew a Christmas scene with Sakura and Maria. Kanagawa's Akayan depicted a beach outing with Irene and Rainy at sea, and Sakura and Maria presumably elsewhere. Osaka's Ochiba Miyabi drew Sakura and possibly Sulamire in non-game attire, aiming for a different style. Hokkaido's Nakamura Russia contributed a cute illustration with a girl and a teddy bear, showcasing a unique and personal style. Finally, Gifu Prefecture's Sakura Mahiro's Sakura artwork is described as an oasis during work, suggesting fan support and appreciation for the magazine. The page celebrates the creativity of Dreamcast fans and their passion for Sakura Wars 2. This page is a fan page section dedicated to Sakura Wars, In Dreamcast Magazine, it welcomes fan-made manga submissions and encourages readers to create comics featuring their favorite characters. The page features fan-submitted comic strips and presents a popularity ranking of Sakura Wars characters based on postcards received. Leni is ranked first with 76 postcards, followed by Sakura in second place with 32 postcards, and Maria in third place with 28 postcards. A special feature is highlighted, focusing on the characters Leni and Iris. The page also provides the address for readers to send their fan postcards and magazine submission details. This page is a preview for Sonic 3D, Flicky's Island on Sega Saturn, titled Sonic Series, This is the Latest Work? It highlights the game as a return for Sonic in an overlooking viewpoint action style, noting it's different from past titles. The preview emphasizes the isometric perspective and mentions that while it's a game made for the Genesis, it feels completely new. It is described as a high-quality, speedy action game coming to Saturn. The page discusses gameplay mechanics, explaining the controls are simple, with jump and spin dash. It describes how to use rotating platforms in stages like Green Grove Zone. Item boxes for rings and shields are shown, and the player is advised to use actions effectively to progress through stages, taking advantage of gimmicks and enemy placements. Screenshots show Sonic in isometric environments, collecting rings, interacting with platforms and enemies. The release is anticipated in 1999 at a price of 3,800 yen as an action game published by Sega. The game is stated to be 99% complete. Flicky Island, known as Sonic 3D Blast in English, is the setting for this game, featuring 7 zones divided into 3 acts each. To clear an act, players must rescue 5 Flickies and guide them to a dimensional ring, with Dr. Eggman battles in the 3rd act of each zone. Zones include Rusty Ruin with rotating floors, Green Grove, Snowy Diamond Dust with slippery surfaces, Spring Stadium with pinball elements, Gene Gadget, Eggman's Fortress with traps, Fiery Volcano Valley, and the final Panic Puppet Zone, Eggman's Factory. Chaos Emeralds are crucial for the true ending. Collecting all of them unlocks the real ending, while bonus stages, accessed with 50+ rings, turn Sonic polygonal. Collecting all Chaos Emeralds promises something special. This page previews the Sega Saturn game Girl Doll Toy, an adventure game from publisher Xanax. It's described as a touching story about giving a human heart to an android girl named Erica. The game is set to be released on December 23rd and is recommended for ages 18 and up, costing 6,800 yen. The text mentions that the graphics and scenario have been renewed from the PC version and highlights the emotional and exciting parts of the game. The screenshots show in-game scenes and dialogues featuring Erica and another character named Satoru, hinting at the romantic and dramatic elements of the story. The game's selling point is its moving story that will make players cry. This page is a preview for the Sega Saturn game Erica's Improvement. It's described as the second step doll zone and focuses on the protagonist, Satoru, and an android named Erica. The text reveals Satoru's actions have been excessive and have seemingly broken Erica. The game revolves around Satoru reflecting on his behavior and trying to improve Erica to be more human-like. The dialogue boxes showcase interactions between Erica and Satoru, hinting at Erica's evolving emotions, possibly influenced by age content, and the issues caused by Satoru's actions. There's a mention of motor sounds, and Erica becoming unresponsive. Character file #003 introduces Professor Maruyama from Dai-A University, who is Erica's creator and an expert in android research. Character file #003 also introduces manager Akiyama, the owner of a junk shop in Akihama Shopping District, who provides parts for Erica and is friendly with Satoru. The bottom right section reveals that Erica has finally stopped moving, implying a breakdown caused by Satoru's forceful actions, or potentially a structural problem. The screenshots and character profiles flesh out the game's narrative and characters. This page is a preview for the Sega Saturn game Doki Doki Pretty League, which was only released in Japan. The game centers around Erica, an android girl who has stopped working due to a faulty stepping motor. The main character is determined to fix her and seeks help from Akiyama, the store manager. They exchange emails about acquiring Sakaya bird eggs, seemingly needed to repair Erica. The protagonist ventures to Tuen Park to find these eggs, aware of the dangers, and encounters hostile Sakaya birds. There's a section showing a hospital scene with Nurse Satosen, possibly after an encounter with the birds. The page also includes history files describing a meteorite impact and details about the skeleton Erica-type android design, suggesting background lore elements within the game. This page is about the Sega Saturn game Girl Doll Toy, which is coming soon. It seems to be a story-driven game where you need to fix a character named Erica. The preview talks about the protagonist encountering Sakuya birds and getting advice from Professor Maruyama to use cock-a-doodle-doo as a password to deal with them. Using this password, he obtains an egg and a part, which helps him to repair Erica. The text also highlights the protagonist's resolve to cherish Erica and treat her with care. As a first-time purchase bonus for the Saturn version of Girl Doll Toy, players will receive a desk calendar, a clear file, and a poster as promotional goods. This page is an advertisement for the game Narrated, which is described as a 6-inch adventure game for kids and all ages, scheduled for release on December 23rd, priced at 5,800 yen. The text highlights the game's concept of a small, cute doll girl who emerges from a box and shares a summer vacation with the player in secret. The game is described as a Pygmalion story, where the player interacts with the doll for 15 days, helping her become human through communication and housework. The gameplay is simple, involving communication and household chores to build trust with the girl. The player will encounter 3 distinct personalities: Etosera, Pipimu, and Minty. The game mechanics include helping with housework, which is divided into store and delivery tasks. The goal is to make the doll human through meaningful interactions within a limited time. The page includes screenshots showcasing gameplay elements like conversations and in-game environments. Etc. is a Sega Saturn game featuring a Pygmalion-type girl character. She is serious but curious, desiring to become human and a voracious reader. In the protagonist's room, she is portrayed as the most girlish of characters, becoming aware of and interested in the protagonist, displaying cuteness and sulking when teased. The younger sister is mischievous, using cosmetics as detergent in the protagonist's room as a prank. A daily behavior evaluation notebook feature allows players to monitor their progress with Pygmalion through daily evaluations. Good evaluations, based on family and Pygmalion communication, are crucial for fulfilling her dreams. In a school setting, Etc. is deeply in love with the protagonist, viewing him as her master and wanting to protect him, showcasing her strong love and loyalty, despite being told to be less clingy. This page showcases a preview of the Sega Saturn game Pym. The page introduces Pym, describing her personality as energetic and the opposite of Etosera, characterizing her as a Pygmalion type. Known as Falcon Pym for her quick actions, she's restless, yet has a delicate, girly side. The preview highlights the game's dialogue choice system, where player selections influence Pym's reactions and affect a daily evaluation. It emphasizes choosing responses based on the situation, event, and Pym's personality to achieve the best outcome. Screenshots depict Pym in various scenarios: riding a radio-controlled car, experimenting with makeup, and getting messy with lipstick in the protagonist's room, appearing tiny and still in someone's hand, and exploring a bathroom. The text also mentions Pym's restless nature, even during bath time, and how she's always on the move, making her a handful. The dialogue box hints at fashion and Pym's contrasting personality with Etosera, suggesting that simply choosing clever dialogue options won't always guarantee success, and can even backfire. This page introduces the character Minty, a cat-like girl who is described as wearing a cat costume and having a Kansai dialect and a my-pace personality. She is often spaced out but seems to enjoy fashionable clothes. Her room and bathroom are shown, and her behavior is described as cat-like, curling up in the protagonist's bed and appearing as if she might be trampled. The page also previews 3 minigames that affect the story based on the clear results. These minigames are Etosera, a puzzle minigame where the player arranges scattered balls on the protagonist's desk and drops them into containers of the same color. Pimu, a minigame where the player exterminates a large number of cockroaches that have appeared. The method of extermination is simply approaching the cockroaches and pressing a button. Minty, a minigame where Minty eats bread crusts. The player rapidly presses the A and B buttons to feed her as many crusts as possible. The next page is an advertisement for the Sega Saturn game Yoshimoto Mahjong Club. This game stars Yoshimoto Kogyo comedians and is described as a full-fledged mahjong game for families. It is priced at 5,800 yen and is already available in stores from. The page highlights a tournament mode where players can aim for the top and challenges players to defeat the mahjong master, Nada Taro. Screenshots showcase gameplay and character portraits of comedians like Nakata Botan, Johnny Hirose, Sakata Toshio, and more, all participating in mahjong matches within the game. The ad promotes the game's story mode, where players can progress through different stages and tournaments to become the champion. There are details on how to progress in the game by winning 4 cup battles, which unlock a bonus movie, and a chance to win a TV appearance through a lottery system by noting a password in the game. This page showcases 2 games. Firstly, Friends Haru no Kagayaki, a love adventure game for the NEC Interchannel. This title revolves around a group of 11 individuals, former members of a tennis club, reuniting for a 7-day summer vacation and a Highland pension. The narrative explores their evolving relationships and past connections. The game is highlighted for its full-spec motion feature, suggesting detailed animation. Secondly, Yukyu Gensokyoku Ensemble 2 inches from MediaWorks is featured as a collector's disc. This fan disc for the Yukyu Gensokyoku Ensemble series is promoted as having an expanded Yukyu world and a Grand Melee tournament mode. New features include a tag tournament mode, a betting mode called BT mode, and a character editor. Players can create their own characters to compete in matches with characters from the Yukyu universe. Winning tournaments allows players to earn in-game currency, which can be used to purchase movies and adventures from the nighttime shopping street. This page dives into the challenging happy ending for Ruri in the game Ruro no Yuki, which translates to Lapis Lazuli Snow. It highlights key phrases and events that are crucial to connecting with Ruri throughout the story. The guide points out that until a certain point, you need to pursue both Sonomura Wakaba and Sonomura Futaba concurrently, as their storylines are interlinked. It lists important dates and locations for events related to various characters like Megumi, Wakaba, Ayaka, Yukina, Miyaya, Kaori, Futaba, and Yoko, each with a key dialogue snippet to guide players. The page also details the conditions to trigger events for both Wakaba and Futaba on specific dates in December and January. Intriguingly, it mentions a special happy ending, where you can end up with both Wakaba and Futaba if you meet the conditions for both their second events and prioritize Futaba on January 2nd, hinting at a unique 3P ending scenario. This guide outlines character routes and missable events for a Saturn dating simulation game. It details how to romance Mitsuya Miyako, a girl at M&M, by visiting her during business hours, excluding 2 to 3 p.m., triggering events on December 26th and January 1st, and raising affection at the ice cream parlor. For teacher Kyono Kaori, affection increases by performing poorly on tests and making correct conversation choices. She appears in the staff room, shopping street, and school gate. Her heavens involve a hotel visit on December 21st and disrupting her matchmaking on January 2nd. Several missable events are highlighted, including Yoko and a fight, December 20th, Yukiho vs. Kyoho, December 22nd, Saki and 2 people for Christmas, December 24th, and the complex Kidnapped Eriko, and then December 29th, each with specific time, date, and trigger conditions. This page is a strategy guide focused on Street Fighter Zero 2 Feet, known internationally as Street Fighter Alpha 2 Feet. It provides combo techniques for several characters, including Ryu, Ken, Sakura, Chun-Li, Dalsim, Cammy, Zangief, Guy, and General. For each character, there are basic combos, super combos, SC, and original combos, OC, detailed with directional inputs and button presses. The guide emphasizes using combos to win and highlights the importance of mastering super combos and original combos in the game. It also includes tips on using Oricon, which seems to be a type of combo or technique in the game. This page is a strategy guide for various characters in the Sega Saturn version of Street Fighter Alpha 2. It features character profiles and move lists for Cammy, Rolento, Rose, Nash, Birdie, Dan, Abaddon, Zangief, Sodom, Sagat, and Vega. For each character, the guide lists basic, super combo, and original combo moves with corresponding button inputs in Japanese fighting game notation. It's a detailed look at character strategies and combos within the game. This page is an announcement for a time attack contest for Falcom Classics 2 inches on Sega Saturn. It appears to be a magazine focused on Falcom games. The contest is focused on YS 2 inches within Falcom Classics 2, inviting players to compete for the fastest clear time. They are looking for participants who can beat YS 2 inches quickly. The page gives tips for achieving a fast time in YS 2. Key strategies mentioned include displaying the time by pressing the X button on the game selection screen, capturing the time on camera, sending the photo in, mastering the B button dash, using the shortest routes, and precise command inputs. The tips are broken down for two main areas. Taiyu no Kamiguden, Sun Temple, aiming for under 20 minutes initially, and use 2 inches as a whole, aiming for under 2 hours. The contest prize for winners is an MD player, a portable mini-disc player. The submission deadline is January 15th, and results will be announced in late February. This page is a strategy guide for the early stages of YSIV, Mask of the Sun, focusing on the Norsha ice wall area. It gives tips for efficient experience point grinding in locations like Ruined Moon Doria and Sacred Area Toll. For the first boss, it recommends moving to avoid fire attacks and counterattacking with fire magic, suggesting leveling up at Rastin Ruins if it's too difficult. It also introduces the Celsita flower, found after the first boss, which heals and fully restores HP per megapixel. Light magic is advised for revealing hidden passages in Rastin Ruins, and spirit clothes are mentioned as hidden behind walls. Snow-blocked paths require leveled-up fire magic to clear. The second boss strategy involves timing attacks after it lands from jumps, using fire magic. Screenshots illustrate boss battles and location tips throughout. This guide provides gameplay tips for Burned Breath, Salmon's Temple, in an action RPG, possibly wise. For guidance, use telepathy to speak with monsters, especially when transitioning from Norsha's ice wall. Proceeding from Lava Village involves a quest requiring monster transformation, retrieving the Black Pearl, and returning. Defeating the third boss, a snake, requires circling its face and attacking its open mouth with fire magic, or playing it safe by attacking only when it retreats. To revert Adol from monster form, obtain the Holy Grail and get it filled with water by Reg in Ramia Village. The easily missable time-stop magic is located in a pictured area. Lastly, for waterway navigation, seek Keith deep within the waterway to acquire the Watergate control key. This guide provides tips for bosses, side quests, and item locations in the game. It details strategies for the 4th and 5th bosses in the Salmon Shrine. For the 4th, maintain composure against fire and attack quickly. For the 5th, use fire magic against bats. The Black Pearl, located in the Salmon Shrine's password room, is used with the Dreamstone statue to revert petrified villagers in the underground waterway. It advises buying life potions in Lance Village with over 60,000 gold. For the 6th boss, Dales, equip best gear, time entries into flames to attack while using B- to escape. Around level 25 is suggested. Finally, obtain the Cleria shield from Rudder Jenna, as it's essential to defeat the 7th boss Doom. It's mentioned the Relia shield is found on the ground, and speaking to Rudder Jenna grants the Cleria shield, necessary for the final boss fight, which requires all learned skills. This review section previews 2 Sega Saturn games. First, 6-inch My Darling, a dating sim, receives mixed reviews. Some found its scenario enjoyable and shoujo manga-like, appealing to women, while others criticized character designs, story depth, and found it shallow. Scores ranged from 6 to 8 out of 10. Second, Sakura Wars Taigeki Graph, a fan disc, is seen as a must-have for Sakura Wars enthusiasts, packed with voice collections, illustrations, and interviews. However, its value for non-fans is questioned. Some praised the data content but criticized repetitive minigames, suggesting it's better as a lore reference. This title also received scores of 6 to 8 out of 10. Both games are set for release on December 23rd. This page announces the upcoming release of Incoming for the Dreamcast on December 17th, with pre-orders being sold out in some stores. It mentions that the game is a human final battle and is priced at 5,800 yen. The page includes comments from Imagineer executives expressing their delight at the positive reception and high sales expectations for Incoming. They highlight the game's immersive nature and its ability to provide intense gameplay. The page also mentions Imadiao Club being revived in June and discusses the future of the Space Tuner series, suggesting a sequel might be in development 20 years after the original, depending on fan feedback to Incoming. There are quotes about how much the game is being anticipated and how they are confident it will be a hit. This page is an advertisement for the official fan book for J-League Pro Soccer Club Otsukuru 2, a Japanese exclusive Dreamcast title. The fan book is introduced as a guide for players who have played the game up to a certain point. It features club data, information on over 100 clubs gathered from across the country, tournament details, interviews with players like Kenichi Shimokawa and Takeshi Yamaguchi, and developer interviews. The book also promises insights into the Saskatsuku game structure and includes a special project called Path to Ultimate Owner and a 10-year play document for Saskatsuku 2. The advertisement highlights that this fanbook helps players enjoy Saskatsuku even more. This page is an advertisement for Cyber Troopers Virtual On Oratorio Tangram MSBS VAR 5.4, promoting a location test event taking place from December 25, 1998. The text highlights the game as the next evolution of The Wall, presumably referring to the series' gameplay mechanics and depth. It mentions that previous versions were considered overwhelming but lacked refinement. This new version aims to polish the game, suggesting players to come and be tested, implying a challenging gameplay experience. It is from Sega Enterprises' 3rd AM Research and Development Department, and lists Hajime Katoki as the character designer. This page is an Arcade Express feature, Volume 37, presenting the new arcade title, Last Blade 2. Officially titled in English as The Last Blade 2 Inches, and known in Japan as Bakumatsu Roman, the second act Gekka no Kenshi. This fighting game is highlighted as the sequel to Last Blade, and features sword-based combat from SNK. The page details that Last Blade 2 is a 2D fighting game, part of the Samurai Spirits or Samurai Showdown lineage. It is stated to be an evolved version of the previous game, with new systems and characters, now featuring 16 playable swordsmen. The article introduces 4 new characters, including Setsuna, described as a mysterious silver-haired youth from Hell's Gate, wielding strong consecutive slashes. Another new character is Takane Hibiki, a girl seeking revenge for her father's death and specializing in quick attacks but with openings after attacking. Returning from the previous game is the boss character Genjuro Kagami. Kojiro Sanada from the Special Assassination Squad is also mentioned. The game's story revolves around the gates, connecting the mortal and spirit worlds, and the need to find the sealed evil sword to prevent chaos, with the destinies of the characters starting to intertwine. The game supports 2-player versus play and is for the MVS system. This page is showcasing the new systems in place for the game Samurai Shodown 64. Warrior's Rage, the follow-up to Samurai Shodown 64. It details how the game mechanics have been refined, including the introduction of a guard cancel bounce, which uses max power gauge when guarding, variations of dash attacks for high and low strikes, and a new repel, or Yukemi system, allowing players to recover from knockdowns by pressing the D button. The page also explains the power gauge system, which has different sword qualities impacting gameplay. Features tied to this system include Ascension Flower, which allows canceling special moves into super special moves, Consecutive Slash for chain techniques, Hidden Mysteries, and Rampage Dance Mysterious Meaning, which are powerful attacks with specific conditions. New characters are highlighted, such as the spear-wielding Minakata Moriya, the elderly Genbu no Okina, the On-myoji Ichijo Akari, the powerful Kanzaki Juzo, the eunuch Amano Hyo, the mysterious Naishi Jigen, the fire-based Liretsuka, and the monstrous Mukuro. A message from SNK at the bottom expresses excitement for the game's release, noting the doubled enjoyment compared to the previous game, and emphasizes the unique characters and the samurai action experience. This page announces the release of Vampire Savior Volume 2 trading card game by Capcom. This card game allows players to battle friends and collect cards featuring characters from the Vampire Savior series. Volume 2 introduces new characters not found in Volume 1, including Lele, Felicia, Bishaman, and others. The page highlights that the card illustrations are newly drawn, with 169 types available, and emphasizes the simple rules for beginners and strategic depth for experienced players using a multi-deck system. Release information for the card game is also provided, including the release date of December 19th, pricing for starter and booster packs, and a website address for more details. The page also features a section called Shuki Autumn Friends Monster Tales. Night 2, The Birth of a Moving Corpse. Vampire 2. This segment delves into vampire folklore, clarifying that vampire is a species name similar to family game console, and Dracula is a personal name, like Famicom. It explains common vampire traits like being humans who return to life after death and drinking blood, being active at night, and weakness to crosses and holy water. It discusses the origins of vampire legends in European folklore and the potential link to historical events like plagues and premature burials. This page is a preview of the Capcom CPS System 3 arcade game, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The page introduces CPU characters in the game, focusing on characters from Stardust Crusaders. It highlights the game's faithful recreation of the manga's style and character abilities. The page features character profiles, including Vanilla Ice, described as a silent assassin who runs through the desert, with his stand Cream that devours everything in its mouth and transports him to another dimension. Dideo is also showcased, referred to as the ruler of time, and his stand, the world, is detailed, noting its similarity to Jotaro's Star Platinum, but with the added ability to stop time. Whole Horse is presented as a skilled marksman, with his stand Emperor allowing him to control bullets, and he boasts about his value to Dio and his desire to defeat Jotaro and his group. Screenshots of the game in action are displayed, showing gameplay with these characters and their stand abilities. The text also mentions Dio's super combo and stand attack, emphasizing the game's focus on accurately representing the source material. The next page presents the Magical Truck Adventure, a new action game from Sega AM3, scheduled for release in late December. It's described as a merry-go-round style game that departs from the serious tone of rail chase games. The gameplay revolves around collecting mysterious stones and chasing the taste of evil within a fantastical world. The page highlights the simple controls using a lever to steer and action pedals for jumping, emphasizing the game's accessibility and fun factor for casual players. Screenshots showcase in-game scenes with colorful graphics, characters interacting, and the arcade cabinet itself, which accommodates 2 players for cooperative play. The text also mentions that compatibility between players is evaluated at the end of a 2-player game, adding a social element. This page is focused on Radical Road Rash Rush, highlighting a special Christmas version of the game. It mentions that while the core gameplay remains unchanged, the Christmas version features festive costumes and decorations, appearing in advertisements and demos before Christmas. The page details the game's stage structure, explaining that it consists of 6 stages starting in Roy's Town. The gameplay involves collecting stones, and whether you successfully retrieve them or not determines the path you take, branching to different stages. The stage breakdown is shown as a flowchart. Starting with Roy's Town, players either succeed in retrieving stones and progress to Safari, or fail and go to Southern Sea. Both Safari and Southern Sea stages then branch out to Future City, Dinosaur World, or Fantasy, depending on player performance, indicating a branching stage progression based on in-game actions. The page describes Roy's Town as the initial stage, involving dodging logs and electric poles on rails, emphasizing the goal of retrieving the stone. Safari is described as a stage with many animals and traps, featuring crocodiles, rhinos, and requiring players to overcome these challenges to reach the final stage. Southern Sea is a stage set in the ocean, starting underwater, with dangerous sea creatures like sharks, and focuses on thrilling chases in a marine environment. This page is a strategy guide for the arcade game Star Wars Trilogy Arcade, focusing on the Yavin stage. The mission objective is to destroy the Death Star, piloting an X-Wing. The guide mentions that the game structure follows the movie, with dogfights in space, chases, and battles inside the Death Star. The controls are stick and trigger, with an event button to call for backup. The page also includes information from AM12 Research, noting that the trailer for Episode 1 has begun showing in Japan and mentions an Xmas campaign where participants could win a trip to Hollywood. It also confirms the arcade game is scheduled for release around May. The next page is a strategy guide for the game Flat Out, which is likely the Japanese title for Star Wars Rebel Assault 2, The Hidden Empire. The guide covers 3 stages of the game. The first stage is a space dogfight, where the advice is to destroy enemy ships, specifically TIE fighters and Star Destroyers. Players are advised to stay in the center of the screen and call for support ships using the event button for higher scores, focusing on quickly eliminating dangerous enemies, especially during large groups of TIE fighters. The second stage takes place on the Death Star surface, where the objective is to defeat the TIE Advanced. The guide highlights the importance of destroying turrets and targeting the TIE Advanced, which is protected by escort fighters. The advice here is to use the event button for continuous hit bonuses, and to learn enemy flight patterns to maximize hits and special bonuses. The final stage is inside the Death Star Trench, where players must launch proton torpedoes. The key is to launch the torpedoes when the counter reaches 0, and to align the cursor with the target hole. Players are encouraged to aim for continuous hit bonuses as enemies approach in the trench, and to use proton torpedoes to defeat the final TIE fighters. The next page is from the Sega AMR&D Department No. 1 official corner and is titled Dynamite. This page serves as a guide for The House of the Dead 2. It highlights the game as a gun-shooting arcade title for the Sega Naomi system, supporting two-player gameplay and already receiving good reviews. The guide focuses on the first chapter, providing essential tips. These include reloading quickly during shooting containers to find items, and paying close attention to the screen after taking damage to locate enemies. The Creature Room section introduces key enemy types: standard zombies that attack in groups, Johnny, a zombie wielding axes making him dangerous up close, aquatic zombies emerging from water with low health, Mora, flying creatures that attack in swarms with unpredictable movements, Randy, wall-crawling enemies that fly at you offering counterattack chances, and Max, a chainsaw-wielding zombie, tough and powerful but vulnerable to quick attacks. This page is a preview of The House of the Dead 2. It is presented as the first chapter, A Prelude, from Sega AMR&D Department. The Japanese title translates to Roar of the Undead Swarming in the Darkness. The page details the initial areas of the game. Area A, start to library front, and Area B, inside the library, with a map outlining the player's path through these locations. The article describes facing zombie David enemies right from the start, emphasizing the importance of headshots. It mentions gargoyles provoking the player, and later, 4 zombies blocking the path, suggesting strategic enemy placement. For Area B, the text explains encountering zombies from the right and left after passing through the central path. Screenshots illustrate gameplay, including aiming at zombies' heads, and phrases like, hold your fire, and press start button free play, hinting at its arcade origins. The text also highlights that even Johnny and Zako-type zombies will appear in later sections, implying a variety of enemy types. Area C, in a Dreamcast game, features a branching path depending on rescuing a woman and a man at a well. Failing to save the woman leads to Area D Route 1, where players encounter Kaoru, Johnny, zombies, hill, and chainsaw zombies. Success leads to Area E Route 2 by saving the woman, presenting a middle-aged man attacked by zombies, and fewer enemies after defeating Johnny and zombies from the right. Breakable containers in both areas may contain items, especially life recovery near the well. Hill enemies differ between routes, appearing smaller and further away in Route 2, but requiring rapid elimination. Routes merge after this point, which features Max. Screenshots depict gameplay with zombies in a courtyard with a well, suggesting a horror shooter, possibly House of the Dead 2. This page is a game strategy guide focusing on the first chapter boss in the game Judgment. It details 2 attack patterns of the boss, which is a gargoyle and a swordsman duo. Attack pattern 1 involves the swordsman's axe attack, where players are advised to target the gargoyle when the swordsman attacks. Attack pattern 2 details the gargoyle's body slam attacks from the left and right, advising players to anticipate and dodge these movements. The guide also covers earlier sections of the level named Area F, Backstreet Jewel Warehouse, where players encounter Johnny throwing axes and aquatic zombies. It also mentions a section where players need to rescue a woman to gain a life power-up, and warns of additional zombies appearing from doors. This page is a strategy guide for Spike Out, Beat Jam. It focuses on Stage 2, offering tips for taking the back route and defeating enemies in Area 25, and the boss, Homer. The guide advises players on using throws effectively in the narrow Area 25, finding hidden item boxes, and strategies for the boss fight against Homer, suggesting players should fight aggressively and exploit openings in Homer's attacks. The page also details specific techniques to use against Homer, such as the full swing hand blow, arm blade combination, and triple 7-shot strike. This page is a strategy guide for the Dreamcast game Spike Out, Digital Battle Online, focusing on Area 26 and Area 27. Area 26 takes place in a parking garage, advising players to utilize the thin walls for cover against enemies. It highlights the importance of finding health boxes, noting that enemies carry them, and they appear at the start and boss encounters. The boss for this area is the tag team GENA and Honda, describing them as female pro wrestlers who are relentless when getting up, suggesting a strategy of continuous throws and attacks while they are rising. Specific moves to watch out for encounter from Gina and Honda include Knuckle Arrow, Chop from Combo, and Lifting Up, advising players to observe these attacks before countering. Area 27 is set on a staircase, advising players to stay below and defeat enemies as they jump down. Health boxes are also mentioned to be available in this area, emphasizing their importance in boss battles. The boss for this area is Ryuji. The guide points out Ryuji's weakness is after he performs his spinning heel kick attack, offering an opportunity for counterattack. Finally, the page points out interesting background objects in the hall section of the game, referring to it as Sega Mall and Transportation Hall. It mentions several Sega game references like Tetris blocks in 3D, Space Harrier, Fantasy Zone, and Pen Pen from Pen Pen Triicelon, suggesting these are Easter eggs for observant players. This page is an advertisement for a new game magazine called Game M. It highlights that the magazine will offer more than just game strategies, focusing on thorough coverage and analysis of games. Presented by Game Mania, this new magazine is coming soon and promises to unleash all sorts of game information. Teased within the advert are articles covering the Dreamcast phenomenon, Resident Evil, an interview with Nintendo's Shigeru Miyamoto, and an interview about the development of the game R4. The magazine is currently in production coverage and is scheduled for release on January 11, 1999, with a price of 690 yen. This page is a horoscope section titled Weekly Dreamcastrology for the week of December 18th to 24th. It provides weekly fortunes for each zodiac sign, covering aspects like money, health, love, and work, along with advice and illustrations for both boys and girls. It also highlights this week's lucky person, who is Linear Cannon-san, born on March 2nd, under the Aquarius sign. This page is an advertisement for a Reader's Prize draw from Dreamcast Magazine. Prizes include Dreamcast games, a Dreamcast 99 calendar, a Dragon Quest Fluffy keyholder set, and a Battle Country Turb keyholder. 20 people can win a Dreamcast game, 5 can win the calendar, 5 can win the Dragon Quest keyholders, and 10 people can win the Battle Country TURB keyholder. The page also previews the contents of Dreamcast Magazine Volume 2, which will be released on December 25th. The issue will feature a big scoop on Shenmue, new Dreamcast title announcements, and information on Dreamcast in 1998 and future developments. Upcoming Dreamcast games mentioned are Kita-E, White Illumination, Suku no Kishi Space Griffon, Frame Gride, Kinki Sekai La Pucelle, Tactics, Suten Ryoku Ritai Buken Katsugeki Power Shovel, Sengoku Turb, Sigarali 2, Blue Stinger, Climax Landers, Sonic Adventure, 7 Cross, Godzilla Generations, Incoming and Incoming, Human Final Battle. The page also lists the staff members of Dreamcast Magazine, including editors, writers, designers, photographers, and more. This page is an advertisement for the Sega Saturn game, Lapis Lazuli Colored Snow, also known as Azure Snow. The advert highlights a pre-order campaign for the game, offering an original hologram seal and a photo stand clip as special bonuses. The game, published by KID, is priced at 6,800 yen and is rated for 18 years and over. Screenshots at the bottom appear to showcase in-game scenes and interface elements, featuring the anime-style art of the game. The promotion mentions a deadline for pre-orders of December 26th. This page is an advertisement for the upcoming Sega Dreamcast game, Sonic Adventure. It emphasizes the speed and adventurous nature of the game, stating that a new adventure is starting in the skies, seas, and lands. The advert mentions the story involves saving a world from destruction and the appearance of 6 playable characters. The game is described as featuring dreamlike mystery, powerful enemies, and the unique gameplay possible on the Dreamcast. The advertisement highlights the use of VMU, visual memory, to interact with the Chow outside of the monitor using the A-Life system. The game title, Sonic Adventure, is prominently displayed in English and Japanese, along with the subtitle, High-Speed 3D Action. It also includes a release date of December 23rd and a price of 5,800 yen. The characters Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Big the Cat, and E102 Gamma are featured in the artwork. There are also screenshots showcasing in-game graphics and gameplay,